Table of contents. Table of contents. In less than a minute, he had killed 2 people in succession. Moreover, it was all a head-on clash of strength, moves, and the murderous aura he was exuding. Complete victory. The remaining 3 Black Warrior-s all had gloomy expressions. Is he really a escalated blood stage? That's not right. The aura on his body is no longer escalated blood stage. He has reached the chi refining stage. Yesterday they were still escalated blood stage, and today they broke through. The 3 Black Warrior-s communicated with each other. One of them shouted, "So what if you are in the chi refining stage? Kill OL3, OL4, we must avenge ourselves." The leader of the men in black immediately said, "Don't be rash." He immediately said, "Kid, if you dare to move again, she will die immediately." With a movement of his 2 fingers, he directly grabbed onto Xiao Dai's neck. The joints of Xiao Dai's throat made a few gurgling sounds. His breathing hastened, and his complexion couldn't help but become pale. Xiao Dai said with great difficulty, "Along, don't worry about me." Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he clenched his fists and said, "You better let him go, otherwise you will die a miserable death. Humph! If you dare to even move, I'll break the inside of her head. Come on, let's see who's faster." Black Warrior was absolutely confident that he would succeed compared to Long Fei. Moreover, he also had absolute confidence that Long Fei wouldn't dare to make a move. Long Fei's eyes darkened. He did not move. Black Warrior laughed coldly and said, "Very arrogant? He killed 2 of my brothers in a row." Long Fei continued to stay silent. Black Warrior was a little proud and said, "You can't be arrogant, right? Kneel down now." Long Fei was waiting. Black Warrior shouted, "I told you to kneel down and listen. If you don't kneel down now, you'll kill him immediately." As soon as he finished, he still held Xiao Dai up in the air. Xiao Dai was no longer able to breathe. "Kneel!" Black Warrior shouted. Long Fei bowed slightly. The 3 Black Warrior-s thought that Long Fei was going to kneel down and give in, and the 2 immediately walked forward. As long as Long Fei kneeled down, they would immediately attack him ruthlessly. The 5 of them were all together in a life-and-death situation. Although they all had different surnames, they were all as close to each other as brothers. He had to take revenge. However, they did not expect that the moment Long Fei's body slightly bowed, Long Fei fiercely roared, "Kneel before your 18 generations of clan leaders." Ding! True Chi value plus 100 points. Enough! Long Fei had been waiting for the True Chi to recover its value. He needed 10,000 True Chi points. In an instant, the True Chi's value had risen to 10,000 points. At the same time, Long Fei moved his idea, absorbing skill. Schwan. Long Fei's figure disappeared. Yurong rushed over. Seeing that Long Fei's voice had suddenly disappeared, his eyes darkened. "Long Fei, be careful of Xiao Dai." Xiao Dai was already in a strangled position. If he used even a little bit of strength, he would probably die. Long Fei was being too reckless at this time. How would he explain it to Gui Qingshan if anything happened to him? Too impulsive. Impulse? That was because Yurong did not understand Long Fei. To Long Fei, Xiao Dai held an even heavier position in his heart than Yurong did, because the first person he saw when he opened his eyes was Xiao Dai. Xiao Dai taught him cultivation techniques. Xiao Dai took care of him and cooked for him. Xiao Dai helped him prevent Yi Changfeng from closing the secret world. Long Fei was extremely grateful in his heart. No matter what, Long Fei would never take Xiao Dai's life as a joke. In this kind of situation, if it was the past, he definitely wouldn't do it recklessly, but now. Forbidden, profound mysteries. This was Tribulation's most powerful skill, and it also dealt 10 levels of damage. This was enough. Long Fei's figure disappeared, causing everyone to look around in shock. Where is he? Where is he? Why did it suddenly disappear? It was too strange. Suddenly gone. Then, the Black Warrior who had grabbed Xiao Dai immediately shouted, "Brat, putting on a show? Come out, or else she'll die right now." Not waiting for him to finish, a Black Shadow Warrior pointed at him and said, "Big brother, why do you have a black X on you?" Another black warrior also asked in shock, "What is that?" He looked at himself and could also see that there was a big black X shape on his body. He didn't feel any discomfort at all. What is this? He didn't understand either. There was no pain in his body, only a feeling of being imprisoned, but it was just a feeling, nothing special. "What are you doing?" Black warrior disdained. Half a second later, Long Fei's figure reappeared once again. He did not look at the black warrior because now the man was a dead man to him. He looked at Xiao Dai and said, "Sis, close your eyes. It'll be fine in a moment." Xiao Dai did as he was told. With the black X still on his body, Black Warrior angrily shouted, "You dog, I told you to kneel down." Before he could finish his words, Long Fei coldly said one word, "Die." The black X suddenly retracted, as if 4 long swords had pierced into its body. Shua! The Black Warrior simply didn't have time to react. Zhang Xian was taken aback. In the next moment, his body was split into 4 parts. Blood spurted out from his wounds, and his eyes were widened in fury. Even in death, his eyes were still open. He didn't even know how he died. In that instant, a bright red number floated above the man's head. 100,000. Damage from 100,000 points. Instant kill. Moreover, this was no longer under the condition of plus 10 damage. At the same time, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Black Warrior for obtaining 180,000 experience, 1,800 true chi points, 3 wild god points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining extra 10% of Black Warrior's cultivation. Would you like to convert it into experience points? This was the absorbing skill. Anyone who used it to kill will be able to absorb 10% of their cultivation. And if these cultivation were converted into experience, it would give Long Fei the experience needed to level up. Long Fei's heart was moved. Transform. Ding. System notification. Experience points plus 800,000 points. Oh, 1/10 of his cultivation is equivalent to 100,000 points experience. Awesome. This skill is too awesome. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 2nd grade, refining Chi Realm. With the 800,000 experience added on, Long Fei instantly broke through. Strength, defense, all these attributes have been increased by quite a bit. This feeling was simply too satisfying. However, the surrounding people were all dumbfounded. They looked dumbstruck at the 4-section body on the ground, completely stupefied because they did not know how Black Warrior died. Even Yi Yurong was stunned. Just now, when he witnessed Long Fei's miraculous sword technique, he had killed hundreds of demon beasts in an instant. Now, Long Fei displayed another move that he had never seen before. It was an instant kill and was extremely sharp to the point he did not even know how the dead died. Isn't this man too fierce? Chapter 23:37. I swear with my life. Chapter 23:37. I swear with my life he didn't even know how he died. The remaining 2 Black Warriors' eyes were in a daze. They slowly trembled. Their legs had begun to soften. In their eyes, Long Fei was not a human anymore. Gudong! Ghost, ghost, ghost. He's a ghost. The remaining 2 Black Warriors were completely insane. After 3 consecutive moves, they had killed people in an instant. Furthermore, each of their moves were sharper than the last. Especially the last move, it was extremely strange. The 2 of them seemed to have gone crazy as they escaped. However, Long Fei had said that those who touched his brother would die. Long Fei would definitely not show any mercy when killing someone. Even if he wanted to escape, he would die. He quickly made his moves. 2 miserable shrieks sounded in the forest. 2 notifications sounded. His experience points had increased yet again, but the cooldown time of the absorbing skill was quite high. Otherwise, it would be too great of a waste to use it to kill people. Long Fei returned to the scene. Xiao Dai immediately stepped forward and asked, "Along, are you all right?" Long Fei shook his head and said, "It's fine. We have been targeted." "You're wrong. Now you should talk about what you're looking for, right?" These people were obviously staring at them. To kill Long Fei? Impossible. It was true that some of Yi Chongfeng's forces were outside the sect, but once he died, those forces of his collapsed instantly, so it was impossible for him to come to Long Fei's side. Since they weren't here to look for him, that was another reason. Yurong. The task of her eating was not simple. Moreover, Yurong never revealed the purpose of this mission. Xiao Dai could not help but ask, "Big Sister Xiao Dai, what is your mission?" Thin Monkey and the big-sized man swallowed the cure pill medicine, and the two started meditating. Yurong locked the space between his brows. Long Fei said straightforwardly, "It's fine if you don't want to say it, but I won't risk going with you. If we didn't rush there in time, they would have." Long Fei didn't care, but he could not take Xiao Dai's life as a joke. Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei. Yurong hesitated before saying, "Mingyu." "What?" Long Fei did not understand. "What is Mingyu? I've never heard of it." Xiao Dai was also very suspicious. Yurong explained, "Mingyu is a sacred object of the Ming clan. It can absorb the energy of all the undead, and can also absorb the energy from corpses. But it is too dangerous and evil, and has always been placed in the Xianyu mountain range. My goal this time is to get it back." Long Fei looked at Yurong and said, "For the netherworm in the Xianyu secret territory?" He didn't need to think to know. There must have been someone who had entered the second floor, but they had failed and returned. It could also be that the evil creatures inside were too strong to deal with. This allowed Yurong to find Mingyu and use it to summon, absorb, or use it for other purposes. In short, it was all for the body of the netherworm in the tomb. Yurong did not speak, but nodded. Long Fei asked again, "Did anyone go down there?" Yurong nodded his head again and said, "Yes, just as you said, the monsters below are too strong." Long Fei said, "I've already told you. Without absolute confidence you can't go down. Why don't you listen?" The green-haired, golden-bodied zombies on the first level were almost unable to deal with them. If it had not combined with the dark unicorn, then the monsters on the second floor would be even more powerful than they were before. This was the basic rule in the game. However, some people couldn't wait. Yurong did not say anything. Although she had kept on telling Elder Ming that it was too dangerous inside, she did not stop him because Elder Ming's body was too important to the Ming clan. Once all of them were fused, he might be able to unleash the inheritance that he had obtained in the ancient world. With the return of the first-rank powerhouse of the primordial gold ranking, the Ming clan would definitely rise again. This was the goal that the Ming clan had been striving for the past 1 trillion years. The more time passed, the weaker the Ming clan became, and they couldn't wait any longer. Long Fei looked at the Black Warrior again and asked, "Do you know who they are?" Yurong said, "If they're not from the Zhou family, then they should be from the Zhao family." Long Fei was slightly relieved. "So you're saying you already knew that the reason the Zhou and Zhao families entered the Xianyu sect was for the flesh of the netherworm?" Yurong nodded his head. "They only know that there's a treasure hidden in the Xianyu sect. As for what it is, they have not found it yet. I was given to the crown prince by Yi Chongfeng. I'm engaged." The reason the Xianyu sectes were conferred the title of Gua tribe was also because the Zhao family wanted to gradually invade and devour the Xianyu sectes. Xiao Dai was startled by what he heard. This was like a novel. "Humph." Long Fei looked at Yurong and said, "Why are you here? Your clansmen should have quite a few powerhouses. Why are you here? Clan members?" It was very obvious that Long Fei had guessed that Yurong was someone from the Ming clan. This was also very normal. Otherwise, the Xianyu secret territory would not have appeared here. Yurong did not hide anything and said, "Because I am a gifted soul of underworld, and only I can control Mingyu." Gifted soul of underworld? Long Fei was secretly shocked in his heart. Xiao Dai cried out in alarm and said, "Sister Yi, so you really are a gifted soul of underworld. You're just too powerful." In Yurong's eyes, there was no arrogance like that of a gifted soul of underworld, but there was instead a hint of bitterness. She would rather be an ordinary person because her fate, her mission, her responsibility gave her too many things she couldn't do. He couldn't even marry anyone. From the moment she had awakened her dark phoenix blood vein, All she had left was to cultivate and become stronger. She had been like this for 20 years. However, now, she had met Long Fei. Her heart had changed. Huff! Long Fei exhaled and asked, "Is Mingyu very important to you?" Xiao Dai immediately said, "Along, shall we help Sister Yi?" Right now, there was still a big fellow in the valley. If she entered the valley alone, she would definitely be in danger. Yurong said, "I never thought that I would be targeted, and that there would be a big demon beast in the valley. The valley is very big, and I can only sense one big demon beast. Could there be other demon beasts?" No one knew. Yurong was the same. Yurong really needed help. She looked at Long Fei and asked, "Can you help me?" Long Fei looked at her. Yurong's eyes began to moisten, and he said, "Help me." Xiao Dai said, "Along, help Sister." This was the first time in so many years that she had cried, "Help me, I'm going to die soon." Woo woo woo. He cried so hard that his heart almost burst out of his chest. It was as if he was going to collapse at any moment. Yurong began to cry. Long Fei's heart ached. He never thought that such a strong woman like Yurong would cry, and cry like a little kid. She said she was dying. Long Fei looked at her and said, "I will accompany you. No matter what happens, I will accompany you. I swear on my life." Chapter 23:38. Entering the Valley. Chapter 23:38. Entering the valley, how could Long Fei let the woman he fancied die? How could he die before the quest was activated? There were still many things that he hadn't done yet. So how could he die? The most important thing was, she was Long Fei's woman. Just with this, even if the king of hell's life and death was removed from his name, Long Fei would kill his way into the underworld and kill the king of hell. In short, with me here, I won't let you die. However, the poison in her body had already slowly corroded her bone marrow. Even if her physique was different from ordinary people and she was a gifted soul of underworld, she still wouldn't be able to resist the poison from the limitless burning sword. Rumors. The limitless burning sword was a treasure bestowed to the Zhao family by the God's tribe. It was Zhenwu continent's #1 divine weapon. It was truly too powerful. It would not be easy for him to remove the poison from it. Yurong wiped away her tears and said, "Really? Will you really help me?" Long Fei nodded. Yurong said again, "Are you really willing to teach me that move?" Long Fei nodded again. She was facing a crying woman, and it was a very beautiful woman at that, especially her breasts. Long Fei really could not resist it. Yurong stretched out her pinky. "Pull the hook." Long Fei smiled and said, "I will definitely do as I say." Even though she said that, she still hooked her fingers around Yurong's little finger, and then, "Pull the hook, hang him, don't change for 100 years. Long Fei agreed. According to the normal pattern, it should be "Who's the dog?" But what Yurong said was different. There was a flash of light. Whoever changes will become Yang. Impotence. Long Fei was stupefied on the spot. Yurong burst out laughing. He. Remember that vow you made. If you can't do it, then below you. That's for sure. Xiao Dai, Thin Monkey, and the big-sized man were also shocked. Isn't this too treacherous? Long Fei was instantly speechless. Yurong chuckled. "I was just lying to you. The wounds on my body have already healed. Do I still need you to save me? However, I am truly a little touched if you swear it with your life." He. As a man, you have to keep your word. You said it before. You would help me get Mingyu. Yurong snickered. Long Fei looked at her. 1 second he was crying. The next he was smiling sinisterly. This woman's face was 100 times faster than flipping a book. Xiao Dai said, "Sister Yi, aren't you being too treacherous? You scared me. And you even need Along's help. You don't need to do this. Along will definitely help you." Indeed, no matter what, Long Fei would help Yurong. Xiao Dai knew clearly in his heart. Similarly, Yurong was very clear about this in his heart. However, she did this to make Long Fei dislike her, and also to remind him to keep his distance. She was the Dark Phoenix. Her mission, the Ming clan would not allow her to marry anyone. Also, the wound on Yurong's abdomen had not recovered at all. It had sunk deep in her bone marrow. It was hard for her to break through cultivation. She did not know how much longer she could continue. She could only do this so that Long Fei wouldn't worry about her. Her face was full of smiles, but her heart was bitter. The first time he saw Yurong using his perspective to look through his body and saw the wound on her abdomen, he had not paid much attention to in the past, but now that he thought about it, it was definitely not a simple injury. Long Fei said, "Let's enter the valley." Yurong immediately said, "That's right. No matter if it's the Zhou and Zhao families, we all have to move a step ahead of them before they can react." Yurong was also a little worried. Mingyu, the sacred artifact of the Ming clan. Not only that, once this thing was discovered, the Ming clan would immediately expose it. One must know that for more than 10 billion years, the powerhouse of God's tribe had been chasing after the Ming clan clansmen all the time. Once found, the consequences would be unthinkable. Yurong stood up. Long Fei looked at Xiao Dai and said, "Sis, you guys hide." Xiao Dai stared blankly. She wanted to follow him, but she was afraid of implicating Long Fei, so she said, "We will stand guard at the entrance of the valley and watch out for you guys." Thin Monkey said, "Boss, don't worry. This time I'll be a bit careful." Yurong took out 3 medicinal pellets and said, "This is a hidden pellet. If you take it, even the powerhouse S of the arrogant form state will not be able to sense the aura on your body." Long Fei reminded, "You must be careful. If you discover that something is wrong, immediately retreat. Understand?" The 3 of them nodded their heads. Long Fei and Yurong also quickly jumped out and headed toward the mountain valley. Trash! Who asked you to make the decision on your own?" The monk was very angry. He didn't give the order to touch Long Fei at all. However, a black warrior said, "General, they also want Yurong and the others to quickly enter the valley. They also want to help you out." Without waiting for him to finish, the Confucian scholar fiercely said, "What do they know?" The surrounding people all went silent, not daring to make sound. The Confucian scholar's body exuded a very threatening aura. After a long time, the scholar let out a heavy breath and said, "The 5 brothers all died in the hands of a single person?" Black warrior replied, "Yes." The Confucian scholar slightly said, "Yurong's cultivation is truly not to be looked down upon. This girl is naturally blessed. Her blood vein talent is exceptionally strong, so it's reasonable that the 5 of them are not her match." The black warrior said, "General, it wasn't Yurong who attacked you. It was that youth called Long Fei. Everyone only used one move." The Confucian scholar's eyes darkened and said, "Impossible. No matter how strong the escalated blood stage is, it's impossible for it to be a match for the Qi refining stage. Furthermore, these 5 people are experienced in battle. Even experts of the essence condensation realm are not a match for them. A mere escalated blood stage cannot hurt them at all." The warrior said, "There's a brother who saw it with his own eyes. That brat's every move was different, and he even had a strange movement in his shadows. There's no such thing as before. The 5 of them were split apart. The method was extremely cruel. Someone from the Xianyu sect said that he's a person from the magic tribe. Maybe he really is someone from the magic tribe." Magic tribe? The Confucian scholar shook his head and said, "The Xianyu sect cannot recruit people from the magic tribe. This brat is only a bit ruthless, but whoever kills my crow, even if you have 9 lives, you still have to die." His words were laced with a thick killing intent. All the black warrior he brought out were his personal guards, the Black Crow group. The 5 of them were killed. Anger boiled in the crow's heart, and its murderous intent stirred. At this moment, a black warrior hurriedly ran back and said, "Reporting to the general, 2 people have entered the valley." One of the warrior raised his eyes. "There are many big demon beasts in the valley. Have they thought of a way to deal with them?" "No rush," the crow replied. "We've already located the item. All we need to do now is wait. They'll definitely come out." At the mouth of the valley, Yurong lowered his voice and said, "There's a great 7 rating monster and beasts up ahead." Chapter 2339, All Bosses Exhilarated. Chapter 2339, All Bosses Exhilarated. Great 7 rating monster and beasts S were incomparably savage. Even Powerhouse of the Elixir Realm did not dare to recklessly offend him. Eorong frowned and muttered to himself, "It's just as I expected. There's more than one great demon beast in this valley. How strange. Why would there be so many demon beasts in a single valley? As the saying goes, a mountain cannot hold two tigers." Great 7 rating monster and beasts were not common, and there were not many in the entire Xianyu mountain range. They were all overlords with their own territory that did not infringe on each other. If another great demon beast appeared in the territory, it would be a life and death struggle. This was unprecedented. Long Fei lowered his voice and asked, "Is there a solution to this?" Eorong said in a low voice, "According to the location Elder Ming gave me, I should be in the depths of the valley. Let me think of a way." Unable to bypass it? Hearing this, Long Fei immediately became excited. He was waiting for Eorong to say these words. It would be too much of a waste if he could get away with it. These great 7 rating monster and beasts were all piles of experience. Moreover, great 7 rating monster and beasts were all bosses, and each one of them had a boss aura. Then again, what cultivation did Eorong have? Had always used her before, but this time, why not make full use of her? Just when Eorong was thinking of a way, Long Fei suddenly rushed out and pointed at a demon beast that was covered in blood and roared, "Grandson, grandfather is here. Come and bite me." Eorong was stunned. "What are you trying to do?" Long Fei chuckled and said, "In the past, you always used me, but now, can I use you?" Eorong's eyes turned cold. The chill in his eyes was oppressing, and he asked, "What did you say?" "Air." Long Fei immediately said, "Since we cannot go around it, then we can only kill our way through. Quickly, quickly, that big demon beast is already charged over. Quickly help me, or else I will die." Long Fei revealed a look of fear. 7 rating monster and beasts were extremely savage and sharp. Eorong also did not dare to take Long Fei's life as a joke, and the first thing he did was to rush out and say, "You move to the side." Long Fei immediately retreated to the side and said, "As you command, my wife." Eorong rolled his eyes at him. With a wave of his right hand, the Xianyu underworld wheel was summoned. Boom, boom, boom. After a few consecutive moves, that great 7 rating monster and beast lost its temper. "Oh." Female protected at Long Fei, who was at the side, could see everything clearly. "This woman is truly powerful. Seems like I still have some distance to go." Just as the demon beast screamed in pain, Long Fei quickly went up and stabbed it with his sword. Eorong bellowed, "Are you crazy?" Long Fei laughed and said, "Old wife, you should rest now. I'll do it." Taking advantage of his illness, Long Fei liked to do things that took his life the most. Facing the great demon beast that was screaming in pain, Long Fei attacked violently. The blood on top of his head quickly drained, and then the system's notification sound rang out. "Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Thorny Demon for obtaining 50,000 experience points, 49,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Thorny Demon's blood. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Thorny Demon inner pellet. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Piercing Sword." The system beeped out a series of notifications. Long Fei was secretly pleased. "Ha ha! This sword is an Earth-ranked treasure. It's sharp, small, and light. If you give this sword to Sister Xiao Dai, she will definitely like it." Looking at Long Fei's secretly pleased expression, Eorong said, "You're not allowed to be like this in the future. It's too dangerous for you to do this. Your cultivation is still very low after all." Long Fei regained his senses and said, "Thank you for your concern, my wife. I will take care of myself. Let's continue." Without waiting for Eorong's reply, Long Fei ran out. This valley was full of great 7 rating monster and beasts. There were no demon beast below level 7. To Long Fei, this was simply a heaven for bosses. Just like when a monster's attacked, all the bosses came. This feeling was simply one word: great. It's here. My dear wife, you're here. Rumble, bang. With a loud noise, an incomparably large stone demon beast rushed out. It clasped its hands together and hacked towards Long Fei's head. Yurong seized the opportunity and leapt into the air. The Xinyu underworld wheel erupted with a sharp power and smashed downwards. Looking at the damage numbers that floated above the stone demon beast's head, Long Fei could not help but praise, "Beautiful." At the same time, Long Fei did not run away, but continued to ridicule. "Grandson, come and hit Grandpa. Pull aggro. Let the demon beast attack him as much as possible and create an output environment for Yurong." Attack after attack. After 10 minutes or so, the blood groove of the great 7-rating monster and beasts quickly bottomed up again. Long Fei seized the opportunity, and the sky, sword fiercely, slashed at it. Boom! As its gigantic body collapsed, the system sounded out a prompt. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Rock Giant Demon for obtaining 510,000 experience points, 50,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Rock Demon Essence Blood. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Rock Demon Core. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Rock Demon Fist Gloves. Ha! It exploded again. It exploded again. It feels so good. It was rare to see equipment being dropped continuously. A boss is a boss. The ones that drop are different. Long Fei had killed hundreds of demon beasts in the past few days, but not a single one of them came out, which caused him to explode twice in a row. Long Fei said, "Continue." He then ran into the depths of the valley. Yurong did not stop her. She discovered that it was extremely easy to work together with Long Fei. The demon beast would not even attack her once. She only found out today that she could actually kill demon beasts like this. It was too simple. Yurong had a deeper understanding of Long Fei. How much does this man know? Actually, it was not because of Yurong's high DPS, but because Long Fei had pulled the aggro of the demon beast well. This was one of the most basic operations in the game in his previous life. If he could not even do this, then Long Fei would just be a *T professional player. Not long later, Long Fei shouted loudly, "Coming, coming! It's 2 big demon beasts this time. Same old rules. I'll carry it. You just need to be in charge of attacking." Long Fei reminded him. At the same time, Long Fei also wanted to experience Yurong's true strength. How strong was this woman? I have to be prepared. He quickly made his move. Half an hour later. Ding, ding. The system sounded out once again. Long Fei was extremely happy in his heart. Ha ha. Something dropped again. This time I'm going to post it. Chapter 2340, Great Demon Beast. Chapter 2340, Great Demon Beast, 7-rating monster and beast boss level. Naturally, the drop rate was high. Adding on the Sky Sword's luck stat, every one of them dropped a piece of equipment. To Long Fei, the more equipment the better, even if Xiao Dai and the others don't need it. He could use it to exchange for them. One must know that the things in the system merchant shop are extremely powerful. Holy Artifact? These are pediatrics. There were even resurrection pills. Universal Dan. Invisibility Cloak, Perspective Talisman, Wall-Piercing Talisman, all sorts of strange things could be found. As long as you have enough trading points, nothing will be a problem. However, all of these were not what Long Fei wanted. What he wanted was something else, an unsealing technique. 73 divine level space ring were floating in his system space, and these rings were hiding countless treasures, but Long Fei could only look, but couldn't take it out. Every time he leveled up, Long Fei would check if there was anything he could take out. However, other than the elixir from before, he did not take out anything else. This was too infuriating, according to his understanding. If he wanted to take out everything from the space ring, even if he were to level up to level 10,000, there was still another way to take it out. Undoing the rank restriction on the ring. As long as he could break the seal, nothing would be a problem. 73 space ring S. The treasures inside were piled into a mountain. As long as one opened up a ring in the seal, Long Fei would receive it. Kill, kill, kill. Wife, can you be a bit fiercer? You're too weak. Long Fei endured the damage. Eorong's eyes darkened. He stared straight at Long Fei and said, "Try saying that I am weak? Do you believe that you can leave immediately?" Long Fei said, "Give it a try. Do you believe I'll take my leave first?" At a time like this, Long Fei was not afraid of Eorong. Moreover, he had absolute confidence that he could instantly jump out of the big demon beast's range of attack. As long as he jumped out, the big demon beast would crazily charge towards Eorong. Eorong said angrily, "Just you wait. When we get back to Xinyu's sect, I'll take care of you." Long Fei laughed. "You want to take care of me? A normal disciple like you wants to deal with the great elder of the Pill Pavilion? You don't want to stay here anymore, right?" Eorong also laughed, replying to the great elder of the Pill Pavilion. "I see how you, the great elder of the Pill Pavilion, will be able to take it when the monthly pills are not available." Long Fei did not take heart. "Don't worry, Big Brother has plenty of methods. He's here. Rumble." Long Fei's expression tensed up. He was busy boasting and was almost overturned by the demon beast. He realized that the demon beast was becoming stronger and stronger and was still only halfway there. How strong were the demon beast inside? I don't know. However, Long Fei was very excited. "Go, Eorong, kill it." Summoning Pikachu was normal. Being angry was one thing, but Eorong immediately rushed up as the Xinyu underworld wheel interrupted the demon beast attack. The two of them teamed up once again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 3rd grade of Refining Chi. Another level up. Another land level treasure appeared in the midst of the space ring. Long Fei was ecstatic. After half a day, Long Fei and Eorong finally entered the depths of the valley. To be exact, he did not see a single demon beast. Eorong also felt that it was strange. The valley was abnormally calm. The sounds of birds chirping and the fragrance of flowers wafted in the air. The little creek was crystal clear and peaceful, without any kind of danger to be discerned. Eorong said, "This place is like a paradise. It is too abnormal." Long Fei asked, "Did the elders in your clan not explain what kind of place this is?" Eorong shook his head. "No, he just explained the location." Long Fei said, "Be careful. The more dangerous a place like this is, the more hidden it is." He didn't dare to lower his guard. The outer perimeter of the valley was incomparably savage, but once one entered the depths, it was as though they had entered a completely different world. Eorong nodded his head, his consciousness continuing to spread out, carefully going forward. The two of them proceeded slowly. They continued all the way until the deepest part of the valley, where there was a huge rock cliff. Looking up, the sky above the rock looked like a sharp sword stuck in the ground, unreachable. Even flying beasts might not be able to fly up there. Cliffs on both sides. This place. There was no cave. Then where is the Ming clan holy artifact? Mingyu. Long Fei looked around and could not help but ask, "Where's the Mingyu you mentioned? There doesn't seem to be any formation seal here." Eorong was also puzzled and thought, could it be that I walked into the wrong place? This is the place that Elder Ming was talking about. But Mingyu was an evil, uncontrollable holy object. It cannot be so peaceful where it appeared. There must be a problem. But then, Eorong was unable to sense what was wrong with the place. Looking at the surroundings of the deep valley, he couldn't find any clues. Long Fei looked at the sharp walls of the cave, which was as smooth as a mirror, and muttered, "Is this cliff really so bright and clean?" Walking forward, his right hand lightly touched the floor. The moment his arm touched the cliff, a strong force directly sucked him into the cliff, and he didn't even have time to speak. He couldn't control it all. Long Fei suddenly disappeared. Eorong rushed up anxiously, looked at the cliff, and shouted, "Long Fei, Long Fei." Anxiety could be seen in his eyes. And at this moment, Eorong took a step forward, and his body was instantly sucked into the cliff. On the other side, the dark chaos world seemed to be quite muddle-headed and blurry. His line of sight was less than 10 meters. It was like a world of heavy smog. What is this place? Secret world? Long Fei's heart tightened. The idea moved and spread out. It could not feel any ends and could not sense any auras. Even if there was something in front of him, his level would not be able to sense it. Eorong rushed in and shouted loudly, "Long Fei." No response. The place she and Long Fei were in was completely different. However, Eorong's consciousness slightly moved and her face suddenly turned ashen. Level 8 demon beast, moreover. His body is flashing with the Ming clan's mark. These demon beasts, it's all under the control of Ming Yu's evil power. This is bad. Long Fei, Eorong shouted out loud. Long Fei, be careful. These are all level 8 nether beasts. Long Fei couldn't hear her at all. There was a power that completely isolated the world he was in. However, after Long Fei entered this chaotic world, he suddenly felt a stabbing pain in his left arm. It was very strange, but it had never happened before. The sting was a small place. It seemed like there was a burning sensation under his skin. Why is that? Long Fei did not think much into it, and slowly walked forward until he saw a huge pillar. What is this? A stone pillar? That's not right. Why is there a thick layer of fur on this pillar? In that instant, Long Fei's eyes jolted, and he quickly retreated. What the F***? Super Demon Beast. Chapter 2341. Transformers has arrived. Chapter 2341. Transformers has arrived just when Long Fei had subconsciously felt that the big pillar of hair growing in front of him was the leg of a demon beast. A deep green golden light shone down from above his head like a searchlight. Her eyes carried an extremely violent and intimidating aura as she instantly suppressed and bound Long Fei. Long Fei was also stunned on the spot. In that second, his face revealed extreme shock as he said in a low voice, "Damn, this is too big, isn't it?" Just like ants and elephants. Long Fei felt that he was just an ant. Gudong. After swallowing a bit of saliva, the sky sword emitted a strange light and extinguished the pressure. Long Fei didn't even think twice as he instantly retreated. Even if he was a madman that went crazy every time he saw a boss, the super boss in front of him was completely beyond what he could handle. Fighting against it? This was a dead end. How can there be such a huge demon beast in this world? Is the world crazy? Moreover, what does it mean to have two eyes glowing with a ghostly green light? What the hell is this place? Long Fei muttered in his heart. This fellow, if he could kill it, how much experience would he have? F***. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, at this time, can you wake up a little? This demon beast will really die. Long Fei said to himself ruthlessly in his heart. Honestly, Long Fei really wanted to do it just once. However, right now his fairy from heaven was cooling, the Sky Sword Sky Code was cooling, and the big move absorbing skill that he had just obtained was cooling as well. The only thing he had right now was arrogant god energy value. But what was the use? Based on his current cultivation, even if he brought out the peak of his arrogant god energy value, he still wouldn't be his match. In the game, he was only a level 1 newbie, but he had to face a level 100 boss. How could he kill it? Stop dreaming. As he sprinted, he would occasionally look back. Sigh, what a pity, what a pity. If I could have killed him, I would have been able to fly. Long Fei turned his head to see that the big fellow had not caught up to him. Furthermore, the searchlight in the air had disappeared as well. Maybe it's because I'm too small. He didn't notice me. Huff! It really is King dangerous. Long Fei exhaled a long breath, his mind still thinking about how to kill this super boss. Just when he was feeling happy. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Explosions were heard from all directions. An incomparably loud sound rang out. Long Fei trembled. What is that sound? For a moment, he was unable to pinpoint the correct location. The only thing he could do was to hear explosions in the surroundings, just like the sound of space shattering. Boom, 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 layer upon layer of ruptures. Suddenly, Long Fei raised his eyes, his pupils constricting as he cursed out loudly, F***. Just now, Long Fei had escaped the demon beast enmity range because of him. After all, He had been rushing forward with all his might just now and had even used up all his strength. Judging by the speed, it should have at least been a few kilometers in half a minute, right? However, this fellow caught up with a single kick. How big was this body? Long Fei didn't have time to think. He immediately placed the colorful lizard shield on his body to increase his HP. At the same time, the sky sword stabbed onto the ground, and with a forceful push, Long Fei quickly flew out. Rumble, the huge palm descended. The ground was covered with sand and rocks, and strong winds raged. Long Fei was barely able to dodge the kick, but he was sent tumbling to the ground by the shockwave. His entire body was covered in mud, his face was covered in dust, and he looked extremely miserable. F*CK. The rage in his heart exploded. Long Fei looked at the thick sky. Don't go too far. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish. Rumble. Another heavy stomp landed, but Long Fei was still unable to release his rage. He continuously rolled on the ground, trying his best to avoid this kick, not waiting for him to stop. Boom! Another kick. Boom! Another kick. Boom! Another kick. The earth shook and the mountains shook. It seemed as if the ground would split open at any moment. Long Fei was completely tricked. He rolled over here, then over there. He did not even have time to stand up, his entire body rolling around on the ground. This is too much. The anger in Long Fei's heart burned hotter and hotter. However, that demon beast did not seem to have enough fun. It continued to trample down. This is bullying. Long Fei bellowed. He dodged to the side. The look in his eyes turned sinister, his eyes bloodshot, and said, "God damn it, forcing me to make a move, right?" Shwa! His body spun in midair. The sword pierced into his leg that was as thick as a stone pillar. But Long Fei did not stop there. Shwa! They flew up along the demon beast's thighs, climbing a few meters at a time, using the sword as a fulcrum. I'll see what you are today. Boom! Boom! Long Fei continuously climbed upwards, and, after a dozen consecutive attempts, he finally reached the abdomen and was once again astonished. This guy is too big. The shock in his heart became more and more intense. He thought that Transformers was big enough, but he didn't think that this guy would remind him even more. Just as Long Fei was feeling astonished in his heart, a burst of strong wind came from his back. Long Fei suddenly looked back and his eyes darkened. This is it. A thick whip swept over with incomparable speed, sealing off all his paths. Long Fei stood at his original position, feeling that he could do nothing. Even if he had to use all of his skills, he would not be able to do anything. I can't believe I'm going to die in a place like this. Long Fei was unwilling to give up. Both fists tightly gripped the sky sword. No matter what, even if he knew that he would die, Long Fei would not easily give up. Bring it on. Long Fei clenched his teeth and said fiercely, "Walala, walala." The strong wind was ear-piercing, and strong gales were blowing. When it hit Long Fei's face, it felt like it was being cut by a knife. With his life hanging by a thread, Long Fei's heart was incomparably calm. His fighting spirit also soared, and the aura he unconsciously emitted seemed to ignite into flames. Long Fei prepared everything, but even so, it was impossible for him to block this attack. In this split second, rumble. Another loud explosion rang out as a beast emerged from the thick armor on its body. Its body was as big as a small mountain. He immediately grabbed the demon beast's tail and let out a roar. The sound waves were like waves. It was deafening. The demon beast's tail was tightly held back, and it let out a blood-curdling screech. Awesome, my brother. Long Fei looked at the demon beast that was covered in armor. He was excited. Transformers. Chapter 2342, King Kong Powerful Fist. Chapter 2342, King Kong Powerful Fist. Suddenly, he charged out, without any warning. Furthermore, he wanted to become stronger than the Transformers before him a month ago. The force that exploded out was suddenly compared to what it was before. Not to mention Long Fei, even a powerhouse at the peak of the elixir would be turned into meat paste in an instant by the power of that tail. This power, too abnormal. Long Fei's eyes flashed, and he shouted excitedly, "Transformers! A gorilla! To be exact, it was a perverted gorilla that had grown armor all over his body, just because of a sudden change in the elixir that Long Fei gave him last time." Transformers looked at Long Fei and laughed excitedly. "Boss, did you come see me?" Looking at you, Long Fei was stunned for a moment. Looking back at the Primal Chaos secret world, he couldn't help but think of what the Transformers had said the last time. Transformers said, "This is the place. I never thought that there would be so many mutated demon beasts inside." Because Long Fei had entered the Transformers' sea of consciousness before. He had once used the parasitic possession to control the Transformers. So, communicating with him now was simple. Long Fei was shocked. Mutated demon beast? F***CK. That's not the point. The point is, you're talking about fairyland. How does this look like fairyland? This place is obviously hell. Long Fei said angrily. It was a fluke to get in here. If they came to the fairyland Transformers had mentioned, they would have already been in deep water. However, that said, the paradise beyond the smooth cliffs was indeed like a fairyland. Anyone who saw this place would think that it was a fairyland secret world if they knew of this secret world. However, everything was an illusion. Transformers muttered, "Meat doesn't know, I also didn't expect it to be like this inside." Long Fei replied, "Let's not talk about that for now. Can you kill this guy?" Nothing else was important. The important thing is to kill this super monster. First, go berserk. The Transformers said, "Let me try." The guys here are all very fierce, and they're all controlled by some kind of power, making them very difficult to deal with. Don't say so much. If you can make a move, then don't say it. Long Fei shouted. Transformers also followed suit. At this time, he was still tightly grabbing onto the demon beast's tail, using his strength in both of his hands. The armor on his body burst forth with bursts of light rays. Roar! The super monster let out a miserable cry. The gigantic head suddenly turned, opening its mouth wide like a bloody bowl and bit toward Transformers. Transformers immediately turn around and place the demon beast's tail on his shoulder, pressing down fiercely. Oh, before he could even bite, the super monster's tail was about to break. Moreover, the gigantic body of the super great demon beast was forcibly flipped over by Transformers. This scene, Long Fei muttered, a fight between deities. The scene was too shocking. The monster movies he watched in his previous life could not be compared at all. Rumble. Super Monster held up for a while. Then his body heavily smashed into the ground, causing another series of painful screams. Roar. Transformers pounded his chest with both hands and released a series of roars. It sounded like he was provoking them, but it was also like he was leaking out his own strength. In this instant, shwa, shwa, shwa. In the air, many black and thick arms shot towards the Transformers from all directions. Not long later, the Transformers' body was tied up by dozens of black ropes. All four limbs and abdomen, and the mucus drips down. Transformers' entire body strength was restricted, and he continuously struggled, unable to use it. A strong sound of movement came from the ground in the distance. The entire ground was trembling. An enormous aura approached from the depths of the darkness. Long Fei looked at the black ropes, and his heart tightened. Another super monster? It was also at this time. Seeing the Transformers being bound, the demon beast that was initially lying on the ground crawled back up, swung its heavy tail in the air, and forcefully smashed it down towards the top of Transformers' head. It was like a heavenly hammer. Rumble. Illo. Bang. He heavily smashed onto the Transformers' head, causing his body to sink down. He knelt on the ground and spat out a large mouthful of blood. At the same time, Transformers was also furious. The power on his body burst out crazily, and the black ropes were also crazily curling up, tightly binding Transformers. Rumble. Another tail came crashing down. Transformers spat out another mouthful of blood. No way. This can't go on. Long Fei was anxious. The Transformers was indeed very strong, but he was a demon beast after all, and he had his own thoughts and instincts. If it was Long Fei who smashed the super monster to the ground, he would have taken advantage of his illness and quickly taken care of it. However, Transformers did not. This was the nature of Demon Beast. Now that he was bound, another super monster must be approaching from the darkness. If he did not remove the restraints on Transformers' body, he would definitely die. And it was the same for Long Fei. Immediately, Long Fei made a decision. The idea moved and said secretly, "Sky Sword." "Buzz!" Long Fei called out. The Sky Sword immediately released a sword hum, which started to shine brightly. Long Fei leaped up heavily, jumping onto the Transformers' finger and shouted, "Send me up." He couldn't move his limbs. However, Transformers' finger could still move, and one finger was even bigger than Long Fei himself. With a flick of his finger, Long Fei leaped into the air. In that instant, the sound of wind breaking resounded through the air. A black rope wrapped around Long Fei. Like an arrow, Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he said, "Kill." The sword came chopping down. Swish, 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 swish. As it fell from the Sky Sword sword that was originally only a few gene in weight suddenly turned tens of thousands of gene in weight as it slashed down vertically. The black mucus ropes that were binding the Transformers broke apart one by one, just like cutting radishes, as they were unable to withstand the sword tip of the Sky Sword. One by one, the ropes broke apart and the dark void let out a series of screams. After half of his body recovered its freedom, Transformers' strength exploded out in tons and tons, directly pulling on the black rope on his left hand. Roar! It let out a roar. He threw it out. In the distance, an enormous figure was swept out. He heavily swung out, smashing onto another super monster's body. 2 days later, the Demon Beast collided with each other and quickly rolled out. "While he's sick, I want his life." Long Fei was afraid that the Transformers would miss another opportunity. Hence he shouted loudly. The Transformers reacted, his 4 limbs supporting the ground, suddenly shot out, landing heavily on his fist. The steel armor on his fist moved, and the fist was wrapped up by the steel armor. King Kong, powerful fist. Rumble. Chapter 2343, Force of Variation, Appearance of the Demonic Eye. Chapter 2343, Force of Variation, Appearance of the Demonic Eye. A dull sound was heard. In the air, his fists were slightly pressed back. The power was like a crazy engine, spinning crazily. Immediately, an intense light of strength flashed on his fists. It was extremely ear-piercing. It struck down at the super monster, whose entire body was covered in mucus and extremely ugly. Rumble! An intense explosion. A strong light shot out in all directions. Long Fei was stunned. What the F*CK is this King Kong powerful fist? This is definitely a turtle sex chi art. No, this is the bombardment of cannons. Awesome. Just like that, the body of super monster who was covered in tentacles exploded into pieces. It couldn't be stopped at all. With his swoosh, the long gash on the top of his head was also pushed to the bottom. A bright red damage figure floated above his head. 3500 000. Holy sh*t. 3 million plus damage. Long Fei's eyes flashed red light. He started to get excited. Good job, very good job, huh? It was also at this time. Long Fei's heart tightened. It's exploding. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting 80,000 experience points for defeating Variant Touch God, 80,000 True Chi, and 20 Arrogant God energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Spirit Void Whip. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Spirit Touch Blood. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Force of Variation +1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 4th grade of Refining Chi. He leveled up once again. Moreover, his experience points had once again reached 60%. A demon beast leveling up just like that, this speed, it felt so good that he just didn't want it. And then, Long Fei did not immediately check the items that dropped, because there was one more important thing he needed to do and that was to find another super monster. Transformers, Long Fei shouted. At the same time, Long Fei rushed forward quickly. As if it understood Long Fei's words, Transformers grabbed the gigantic demon beast on the ground and opened its big mouth. Long Fei used his full strength. The sword pierced Super Monster's tongue. A pitiful damage appeared above his head. However, it was enough to create damage. Because Long Fei only needed to create a bit of damage. Once the demon beast dies, the system would silently agree that he killed it. Long Fei retreated and said, "You can kill him now." Immediately, Transformers used more strength in both his arms, and the power in his body exploded out again, directly breaking the upper and lower jaw of Super Monster. The demon beast struggled for a while before it stopped. The groove above his head was empty. The system sounded out once again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Super Monster for obtaining 680,000 experience, 50,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Demon Beast Blood Essence. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Force of Variation +1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 5th grade, Refining Chi Realm. The level up notification rang again. Long Fei's entire body felt an indescribable comfort. But in addition, Long Fei could clearly feel the change in his power after he leveled up, which made him feel a bit more vigorous. The feeling of leveling up feels great. Right. Long Fei immediately checked the item that dropped. Soul Void Whip. Heavenly Soul Treasure. That's right. Long Fei didn't care. He had always wanted to see the Force of Variation, but they had never dropped such a thing. Item. Force of Variation Attributes. Mutated description. The more Force of Variation a player fused with, the stronger the mutated item will be. Description 2. The mutated beasts could be beasts, alien, or robots. The level of mutation that accompanied the number of fuses a player had. Special prompt. Force of Variation can only be used once. Force of Variation. According to the information given by the system, as long as I fuse with the Force of Variation, I will produce a mutation. Long Fei muttered in his heart. Mutated? Damn, it can even transform into a robot. This is indeed a little too abnormal. Force of Variation. Long Fei muttered in his heart. I really want to see it in the System Merchant Shop. And then, Long Fei opened the System Merchant Shop, and indeed discovered the Force of Variation. However, to purchase a bit of Force of Variation S required 100,000 points. F*CK. Long Fei contemptuously said, one bit of Force of Variation requires exchange value to buy, but this daddy can only exchange for 10,000 exchange value. System, you are really too darned, aren't you? 100,000 points, this was not a small number. However, the more valuable the item was, the more it proved its worth. Beast form? Alien? Robot form? Long Fei secretly thought in his heart. This is going to be interesting, hee. Hoo. Hoo. Transformers panted heavily. He had used up a lot of energy just now, especially his King Kong powerful fist. Transformers looked at Long Fei. If Long Fei had not cut through the rope binding his body, he probably would have died here. He felt gratitude towards Long Fei from the bottom of his heart. Long Fei recovered from his shock, looked at the Transformers, and asked, how many of these demon beasts still exist here? Transformers shook his head and said, I don't know, but these two fellows should be the lowest level of demon beast in this secret world. Long Fei was slightly shocked. Is this kind of super monster still the lowest level of existence? How strong are the demon beasts still? Transformers said, I'm not sure, but all the demon beasts in there are controlled by an eye. That eye is too strong. Boss, that eye could be a treasure. There was a trace of fear in Transformers' eyes. Long Fei's eyes became tight. Eyes? What kind of eyes? Transformers replied, half-moon-shaped eyes. Mingyu. Long Fei immediately thought of what Eorong had said, and in his heart, he naturally thought of something from the movies from his previous life. The demonic eye in the ring. If so, the super monsters just now were created by the demonic eye. Holy sh*t. Then this thing is amazing. Long Fei was secretly excited in his heart, and asked at the same time, "Where can I see it?" Transformers said, "You can see it from my shoulder, but, boss, you must not look into his eyes, or else you will be controlled. That evil power is too strong. I almost couldn't endure it." Long Fei said, "Send me up." Long Fei jumped on a Transformer's shoulder. Transformer stood up. Long Fei's gaze swept across and looked into the distance. Indeed, the evil strength stripes, half-moon eyes continuously flashed, shaking the cold light. Moreover, the moment Long Fei saw Ming Yu's evil eye, it shook and stared straight at Long Fei. At this moment, Long Fei's brain felt like it was about to split open, and the piercing pain on his left arm became even more intense, as if something was about to burst out. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2344, Underworld Dragon, This Scoundrel. Chapter 2344, Underworld Dragon, This Scoundrel. Long Fei could not bear it, and screamed in pain. His entire person fell off Transformers' shoulder, and Transformers supported Long Fei up. Hiss! Long Fei sucked in a cold breath of air. His brain felt as if it had been penetrated by a stream of energy. An indescribable pain assaulted his brain, and his giant eye that was flickering with the evil light of the netherworld revealed a sinister look. Mingyu? Or was it the demonic eye? Long Fei might not be able to say for sure, but he had never felt such an evil power before. In addition, on the back of a huge beholder was a stone door. On the stone door was carved the runes of the Ming clan. The beholder seemed to be the guardian of the stone door. Could it be? Was there an even more powerful creature behind the stone door? Long Fei simply did not have time to think about it. His body spasmed and his head buzzed until it exploded. Furthermore, the burning sensation on his left arm was even more intense. Hiss, hiss. Long Fei took a deep breath and held onto his left arm with his right hand. What the hell is going on inside my body? Transformers asked. Boss, how are you? Did you make eye contact with him? It's too dangerous, boss. The Transformers anxiously said. Seeing Long Fei's painful expression, he was even more afraid of the evil eye. In his heart, Long Fei was extremely powerful. If even he was unable to look directly at the beholder, then the beholder was truly too strong. Long Fei shook his head. I'm fine. Half an hour later, the buzzing in his head slowly disappeared, and the power of the demonic eye also dissipated. The stinging pain on his left arm also lessened. Long Fei had finally recovered. Raising his sleeve, he looked at himself somewhat scarlet, like a piece of iron that had just been lit on fire. What's going on with my arm? Long Fei couldn't understand. He actually felt pain in his arm under the Xian Yu Secret Territory's main hall. However, it was very light and didn't have much of an effect. But this time, it was as if there was something under his arm. It kept tearing, as if it was about to rush out and burn red-hot iron under his skin. It was very hard. Long Fei didn't know what was going on. However, Long Fei felt that there was something under his left arm, and it was definitely related to that evil eye. He tightened his eyebrows, suddenly stood up, and said, Transformers, let's go. Transformers was startled. Ah, boss, did I hear wrongly? That evil, I can't even block it at all. If we get too close, we'll immediately be controlled. Transformers said worriedly. He was very afraid. Long Fei was afraid. He really didn't know how to defend against that kind of terrifying power, but he wanted to figure it out. From the moment he woke up, he had a feeling that his memories were broken. Or were those lost memories? Why did he have all those strange dreams? Why? Would the men of Dragon Abyss Dungeon call him son? He didn't know. He really wanted to know. His left arm definitely wouldn't feel pain for no reason. There must be another reason. It might have something to do with the memory that he had lost. Long Fei had to find out. Long Fei said, You will be in charge of sending me over. I will handle the rest myself. Seeing how determined Long Fei was, Transformers nodded heavily and said, Okay, boss will accompany you. And then, Long Fei jumped on a Transformers' back, and quickly headed deeper into the darkness. In another place, Eorong was also near a few superbosses. Strangely, those superbosses did not seem to see Eorong. At first she thought it was strange, but then she realized. It was an aura. The aura of these super monster S is the aura of their main clan S. If their auras were the same, they wouldn't be able to sense it. Eorong was a gifted soul of underworld, and the aura on her body had completely merged with the netherworld Umbra flower. These demon beasts were simply unable to sense her existence. After Eorong understood all of this, he quickly headed deeper into the mountains, his heart worrying about Long Fei. However, as long as he could clear Mingyu's line, this secret world would no longer have the strength to support him and would be restored to its original state. Long Fei, you have to hold on, Eorong thought in her heart as she looked at the dense, evil qi in the distance. She secretly tensed up. Mingyu, the sacred artifact of the Ming clan. Similarly, it was also one of the most evil things in the Ming clan. It used to be the eye on Pluto's forehead. Possessing the power to absorb all evils, he was known as the Beholder King. It was born from ancient times. It was Pluto who brought it out of ancient world. With the fall of Pluto, the Beholder King flew away from Pluto to become Mingyu. From that moment on, no one in Ming clan could truly control it. Even the number one war god of Ming clan, Ming Long, couldn't do it. Ming clan was defeated in a battle between two great gods' tribe. Some of them withdrew from the universal large world, while some others hid themselves. Mingyu was brought to the Zhenwu continent by the branch of the Ming clan, and like the others, he could not control himself, and kept him there, waiting for the person who could subdue him to appear. Gifted soul of underworld. After countless years, the strongest gifted vein in the branch of Zhenwu continent, Eorong carried the last hope of the Ming clan. Those elders of the Ming clan did not know whether or not she was able to truly control Mingyu, and only knew that she was the only one who was able to approach Mingyu. Closer and closer, Eorong felt an even stronger evil aura. A few minutes later, she came to an altar. On the altar, there were two huge pillars. On the pillars, there were all kinds of strange and hideous stone carvings of nether beasts. Between the two pillars, there was a floating crescent moon. Mingyu. Eorong looked at Mingyu, who was on the altar, and felt the surrounding strength. Unparalleled power. Eorong's eyes were filled with reverence as he knelt down. Disciple Eorong, the reincarnated Dark Phoenix, greets Master Mingyu. Buzz! Mingyu glared at him, and countless evil rays of light enveloped Eorong as a deep voice filled with evil sounded out. The reincarnation of the Dark Phoenix? So many years have passed since I was locked in here, and this is the only netherworld phoenix blood vein that came out of Ming clan. Seems like the Ming clan is done for. Mingyu's words were filled with contempt. Gifted soul of underworld may be an extremely strong existence to ordinary people, but to Mingyu, it was not worth mentioning. It was an extremely trashy existence. Thus, he was somewhat disappointed. Eorong also felt Mingyu's disappointment and immediately said, Master Mingyu, this disciple has disappointed you, but I need your help. Mingyu said indifferently. Help what? Eorong said, we have discovered the tomb of the Lord Ming Long. As long as we can find the Lord Ming Long. Without waiting for Eorong to finish speaking, Mingyu's crescent-shaped evil eyes suddenly glared, as if he was about to break free from the seal's power on the pillar. The endless evil energy of the netherworld Umbra flower began to burst forth crazily, its strength turning into a berserk state as it rushed towards Eorong. This dog thief. Chapter 2345, Mysteries of the Ming Clan. Chapter 2345, Mysteries of the Ming Clan. He suddenly flew into a rage. Uncontrollable. Furthermore, this anger was like a volcano erupting. It was extremely furious. The entire secret world began to stir up chaos. At the same time, Transformers and Long Fei were almost blown away by a strong gale of evil energy. Eorong was also unable to endure it any longer. so she released her strongest power. A dark phoenix image appeared on her body, protecting her entire body. Gifted soul of underworld? It's nothing. Mingyu is furious. The power of the netherworld, a Dumbra flower, was like a bolt of lightning, immediately crushing the netherworld phoenix phantom on Eorong's body. Eorong was also sent flying and smashed heavily onto the ground. Puff. Eorong spat out a mouthful of blood. Had he said the wrong thing? Why was Mingyu so angry? The body of the Lord Minglong contained a powerful inheritance power. As long as it was fused together, it would be able to obtain the power of the once number one person on the ranking. There was hope for the rise of the Ming clan. However, why is Mingyu so angry? Eorong crawled up from the ground with great difficulty and said, "If Disciple has done anything wrong, please punish me." Wrong. Ha. Mingyu laughed loudly. It's more than just a mistake. All of you are guilty, and your Ming clan is just like a bunch of brainless trash. He directly insulted the entire Ming clan. And very angry, Eorong clenched his fists and said solemnly, "If Disciple was wrong, then I am fine with you punishing me. But why are you insulting your ancestors?" Humph, Mingyu sneered. Listening to the slanderous words, accidentally killing a loyal official. Shouldn't you scold me? The entire Ming clan was being toyed with by one person. Should I scold him? A traitor of Ming clan has been worshipped and revered by you all for generations. Should I scold you? Word for word, every sentence was filled with rage, as if it was accompanied by a chilling, killing intent. Eorong did not understand at all. Although the battle between Ming clan and God's tribe had lasted for 1,000,000,000 years, every disciple knew clearly that it was a battle of life and death. At the same time, it was also a massacre. Ming clan was massacred by the God's tribe. Mingyu laughed coldly. Ming clan, how powerful were you back then? The number one clan in the ancient world, the S that control the entire universal large world. The powerhouse S that are on the primordial list make up more than half of them. The Ming clan S, who cultivate the legacies of the ancient Ming clan. How awe-inspiring are they? There is simply no one who could defeat such a clan. But ancient world can't stay, and universal large world can't stay either. It's like a rat crossing the street. Wrong. You can't even compare to a mouse. At least mice dare to cross the street, but all of you can only hide in the dog hole. Do you know what this is all about? Eorong shook his head and said, No, I don't know. Mingyu said, "Because Minglong, he is the traitor of Ming clan. Do you think he is dead? Putting him as the Ming clan's war god and offering him up for generations. Do you know that everything you have today was because of him betraying you? How laughable. Ha. How ridiculous." Mingyu angrily laughed out loud. His laughter was filled with hatred. It should be the only one who knows the truth, because it had personally witnessed Pluto being killed by the Netherworm and saw the Netherworm carrying the Underworld King's head to Emperor Xian. The Netherworm has fallen? It was just a deceptive act. However, Mingyu did not expect that the descendants of the Ming clan would actually worship a sinner as a god and see him as the hope for the rise of the Ming clan. Pain. Extremely painful. No, impossible, absolutely impossible. Lord Minglong had been fighting Powerhouse of God's tribe for 3 days and 3 nights just to cover his retreat as an ancestor. If not for Lord Minglong, not a single one of us in Ming clan would have been able to escape from him. Moreover, someone saw him being surrounded and killed by more than 100 Powerhouse of God's tribes before he died. Bullshit. Mingyu interrupted him angrily and said, "All of this is just a play. Do you know what he wants? What he wants is the complete inheritance of the super force of Ming clan. And what he wants is the position of the King of Hell." Eorong said, "But," Mingyu shouted, "there is no but, and you guys found his grave? If I am not mistaken, what you found was not his grave, but the trap he set. That's not right. This trap is not for you." Suddenly, Mingyu seemed to have thought of something and trembled slightly. "This trap was not for you, but for me." "Ah, Netherworm, how sinister are you?" Mingyu roared towards the sky. The endless energy of the netherworld, a Dumbra flower, was wreaking havoc again. And then, Mingyu glared with his evil eyes, staring straight at Eyorong, who was kneeling on the ground. "Get lost, get out of here, and never appear again." Eyorong said, "Master, maybe all of this is just a misunderstanding." Lord Minglong really wouldn't. She didn't believe it, because he couldn't believe it. From the moment she found out about this, Dark Dragon was her idol, the war god. Not just her. The entire Ming clan viewed the Netherworm as a god. His place in the hearts of the descendants of Ming clan had actually exceeded that of Pluto, who had fallen without doing anything. Now, however, Eyorong could not accept that he was a traitor, the sinner of Ming clan. Scram. He did not want to argue with Eyorong. To be exact, he was too lazy to argue with Eyorong, because he also did not believe in the past. Pluto's brother betrayed him. However, the truth was the truth. He definitely wouldn't be lying when he saw it with his own eyes. Moreover, he also believed that the Netherworm was definitely not dead. The so-called grave was definitely a trap. Eyorong did not give up and said, "Master, please help." I said, "Got out." Then no scram. Words. Then die. Listen. Every word, and every word was filled with a strong, killing intent. On the altar, although Mingyu was trapped by the seal on the altar, it was too easy for his strength to kill a person. Eyorong's mind was almost unable to endure it any longer. His body couldn't support it either. The powerful netherworld energy fiercely surged forward. Boom! The fierce wind howled and directly swept Eyorong's body away from the secret world. Eyorong was completely unable to control himself. When she was sent out of secret world, his mind was in a mess. Her brain was a mess. She couldn't figure it out. And then, Eyorong's gaze tensed up. Long Fei. Long Fei was still inside. However, without waiting for Eyorong to rush into the secret world, a powerful force struck over, causing her to be unable to react in time, and a cold sword rested on her neck. "Sister E, run!" Instantly. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Several black figures descended and surrounded Eyorong. Black Crow walked out with a sinister smile on his face. "Eyorong, let's wait for a long time. Hand the thing over." Chapter 2346. Chapter 2346 in the Secret World. Holy sh**t. Has the beholder gone mad? The power of the netherworld, a Dumbra flower, continues to erupt. Long Fei cursed in annoyance. One after another. Too damn powerful. If not for the Transformers blocking him, he would probably still be flying in the sky. Transformers said, "Boss, the altar is right in front of us." Long Fei trembled slightly, his heart tightened, and he jumped down for the Transformers' body and said, "All right, I'll walk the road ahead myself. You can leave first." It was Long Fei who insisted on coming. If anything happened, he didn't want the Transformers to die with him. Transformers immediately said, "Boss, you saved my life. The reason I was able to break through is also because of you helping me. I won't leave." He remembered Long Fei's kindness. No matter what happened, he would carry the burden for Long Fei. From the moment he promised to come with Long Fei, he had already thought things through. Long Fei said, "No matter what happens when I tell you to run, you must run. Do not stay here, understand?" The Transformers nodded and said, "Okay." Huff. Long Fei took a deep breath and walked forward in large strides. Mingyu thought that Eyorong had entered once again and shouted angrily, "Are you not afraid of death?" Holy sh**t. Long Fei thought that he had been discovered a long time ago. Since he had been discovered, Long Fei no longer had any qualms and directly said, "Since you have come, then I have never been afraid of death." Mingyu was startled. His evil eyes stared straight at Long Fei. "It's you." When they were looking at Long Fei, he had also noticed Long Fei and felt that there was a special kind of power within Long Fei's body. Even if it was him, he didn't know exactly what this power was. Long Fei said, "You know me?" Mingyu sneered and said, "Who are you, and why should I know you?" F***ck. Long Fei scolded and said, "You're an object. All right? You're courting death." Mingyu's eyes widened and stared straight at Long Fei. A powerful stream of power of nether rushed out and directly struck towards Long Fei. And this wave of power, even if they couldn't kill Long Fei, they would probably cripple him. Long Fei was not a person who just sat there and waited for death. Moreover, he has a temper. Seeing a strong wave of energy approaching, he immediately took out the sky sword and said solemnly, "I still don't know who died." Transformers also instantly charged out as he wanted to block the attack. However, the moment Long Fei took out the sky sword, Mingyu's evil eyes suddenly trembled. Sky sword? Schwan. The power suddenly disappeared. There was nothing left. He had been crushed by Mingyu and disappeared. Long Fei was shocked. "You know about Sky Sword?" Mingyu's expression was somewhat agitated as she shouted, "Why is the Sky Sword in your hands?" Long Fei asked, "Why can't I have it?" "Umph." Mingyu coldly snorted. Universal World's third ranked divine weapon, also known as the First Sword. This sword comes from Ancient World. However, Mingyu felt that it was strange. Others might not know, but he knew it very clearly. He knew it even better than the Sky Sword's previous master, Long Zhanting, because this Sky Sword also came from the Ancient World. It's a divine weapon bred by the Ancient World and ranked third on the primordial divine weapon ranking. Why would such a small plane appear in it? And why is it in the hands of someone who possesses it and is even a dregs of the refinement stage? Mingyu was secretly puzzled. Long Fei was shocked and thought, "As expected, I knew this sword was not simple." Long Fei had always known this, but he had never thought that this Sky Sword would be so sharp. It was ranked third on the primordial divine weapon ranking, and one that came from the Ancient World that gave birth to it. This sword, too awesome. Long Fei pretended to understand Sky Sword a lot and said, "You know a lot." Mingyu said disdainfully, "This kind of sword would be a waste if it was in your hands. You don't even know how strong it is, so you can't even use 1/10,000th of its power. Kid, tell me, how did you get it?" Mingyu really wanted to know, because the divine weapons produced by the Ancient World had intelligence. This sort of divine weapon would choose its own master. If it wasn't for him choosing his own master, even if you had the strongest power, you wouldn't be able to use his full strength. The young man in front of him looked very ordinary, but Mingyu could feel that the Sky Sword was very freely in his hands. Long Fei said, "There's no need for me to tell you this." However, Long Fei himself did not know either. He knew that when he woke up, the sword was by his side. As for when he had obtained the Sky Sword, he had no memory of it. Mingyu said, "Brat, you are very arrogant." Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Generally speaking, it is only third." Mingyu said, "Ordinary arrogant people would not be able to live past 3 seconds in front of me. This Sky Sword in your hands is a waste. Why not give it to me? I will let you live for a few more seconds." Long Fei's expression tightened and said, "If you have the guts, come and take it." He instantly entered a battle-ready state. Roar! Transformers also rushed out. His armor shone with a cold light and let out waves of roars. Mingyu gave a disdainful sneer. "Just you 2 pieces of trash?" Completely contemptuous. From the start, they had never placed Long Fei and Transformers in their eyes. Long Fei said, "We are trash. What are you talking about? Trash? Or was it a trash moon? How many years had he been locked up here? Poor bastard. You're courting death." Mingyu became angry, and his eyes became sinister. The powerful netherworld Adumbra flower surged forward like a surging tide. "Boss, hide behind me." Transformers instantly blocked the attack. Long Fei had wanted to let the Transformers escape quickly, but she didn't expect him to jump forward. Immediately, Long Fei did not care too much. Transformers. Parasitic possession technique, open. Buzz. The idea moved and directly entered Transformers' body. This was the second time. The Transformers instantly accepted it. He wanted to compete with last time, but this time, Long Fei felt that the Transformers was even stronger. However, even such a powerful strength was not even worth mentioning in front of Mingyu. Long Fei also never thought of using this kind of power to deal with him. Thus, The moment Long Fei entered the Transformers' sea of consciousness, he moved and suddenly shouted, "Wild God energy, activate!" Boom, boom, boom. Its power rumbled like thunder. The armor on his body radiated a powerful light. Seeing the netherworld Adumbra power that was pouncing towards him, Long Fei's body sank. Buzz! He crossed his arms in front of his chest. He didn't try to dodge the attack. Instead, he directly took it head-on. The force struck forward. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The void exploded, and Long Fei's enormous body continued to retreat, almost unable to withstand the force. Even if he released the Berserk God's power, Long Fei wouldn't be able to stop it, because Ming Yu's strength was simply too strong. Right at the moment when Long Fei was about to retreat explosively, the sky sword in his hands suddenly shot out, becoming bigger and thicker. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2347, General of Underworld, Explode. Chapter 2347, General of Underworld, Explode. The two forces clashed, and Long Fei was sent flying from the impact. Even the full release of the Raging God's power wasn't a match for Ming Yu. Moreover, and it was even under the condition that Ming Yu was given the seal. Not high enough? Not really. It was because Ming Yu was too strong. But the moment Long Fei was sent flying, the sky sword in his hand suddenly flew out and transformed into a thick, big sword in the air. It was as if he had transformed. Long Fei was shocked in his heart. Damn, are sky swords still going to grow bigger and stronger? Awesome. This was the first time the sky sword had transformed. Of course, it was only there to better coordinate with Long Fei. Ming Yu looked at the sky sword that had grown in size and was also slightly shocked. Primordial First Sword art is indeed worthy of its reputation. It is ranked third among the divine weapons and was birthed by the ancient world. Awesome. Just based on his spiritual sense alone, I'm afraid he has surpassed the first and second ranks of the divine weapons. Able to follow the master's will and change the shape of the sword. The spirit of this sword was beyond imagination. However, Ming Yu was not afraid and said solemnly, "Sky sword are truly powerful, but that depends on who uses it. And if it's in your hands, you cannot use its full power." Boom! On both sides of the altar, space began to tremble and warp. In that instant, roar, roar, two roars of ferocious beasts could be heard. "Boss, be careful." Transformers' consciousness roared out. At this moment, two super monsters rushed out from the left and right side of the room. They were even more ferocious than the previous super monsters, and they were summoned by Ming Yu in an instant. Long Fei clenched his right hand, tightly holding onto the sky sword. His body slightly sank. Charge! Boom! His body instantly charged out like a cannonball. The void moved. The sword slashed down. The sky sword released a strange glow, allowing Xuan'a Bai's sword chi to be visible. With a sword stroke, the super monster's body was instantly split into two. Instant kill. This damage. A fierce battle. In the next moment, another demon beast rose into the air and rushed to the top of Transformers' head, smashing down from above. King Kong powerful fist. Buzz. His left arm sank. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Stabilized his body and brewed his strength continuously. The power on his fist flickered and burst out. Just a little more. Almost. Long Fei maintained his stability. He had to bring his strength to its peak. The moment the super monster landed, Long Fei threw out his left fist. Explode for me. Strength versus strength. A violent collision. The demon beast's head immediately split open. Transformers' left arm also went numb. His entire arm felt as if it was about to fly out. It was in incomparable pain. However, a terrifying damage floated up above the demon beast that had crashed into the ground, causing its blood to run all the way down to the bottom. Ding! Ding! 2 consecutive notifications sounded. He had also obtained 2 heavenly soul treasures and 2 force of variation S. The key point was, Long Fei leveled up once again. His level had already reached the 5th grade of Qi refining. Roar! Transformers pounded his chest with both hands, releasing a burst of powerful roars. Long Fei said heavily, "Come, come again." It was incomparably sharp. One hand with Sky Sword, one hand with King Kong powerful fist. Two moves, two super monster S were instantly killed. This kind of carefree feeling made Long Fei's blood boil. Mingyu was also enraged. "You dare to be so arrogant in front of me? Humph! You overestimate yourself." Mingyu glared, and the netherworld powers of the entire secret world began to shrink as they frantically gathered around Mingyu's altar. After a while, they finally surrounded Long Fei. It was like a hurricane. Long Fei was in the eye of the storm. "General of Underworld." Boom! Boom! Mingyu let out a loud shout, and immediately after, a ghost soldier that was over 10 meters tall, dressed in netherworld armor, and exuded a domineering and evil aura, appeared within the huge netherworld hurricane. He landed heavily in front of Transformers. Powerful. Long Fei was secretly shocked when he saw the General of Underworld, and the bloody wound on the head of the General of Underworld caused him to inwardly click his tongue. This, a health bar of a few meters square, just how much health is that? However, the stronger you are, the more I like you. Long Fei shouted as the gigantic Sky Sword dragged itself on the ground, causing flames to splash out in all directions. When the General of Underworld saw Transformers rushing over, his body slightly sank as well. A charge. It left a long trail of afterimages behind it, incomparably long. This speed, it was dazzlingly fast. Moreover, in that moment, General of Underworld extended her right hand. Shwa! A long dark spear appeared in the middle of the spinning netherworld hurricane and landed in the hands of the General of Underworld. Without waiting for Long Fei to charge over, the long spear thrust it out. "Be careful," Transformers warned. Long Fei clenched his fist tightly. "Your body," Transformers said. "Boss, I can take it." "All right." Long Fei also did not hesitate. Seeing the spear thrusting towards him, he did not dodge, but instead used his right shoulder to block it. Shwa! The dark spear had pierced through Long Fei's right shoulder. Blood spurted out. Mingyu also laughed out loud. "Brat, I said you can't do it." Just as Mingyu was feeling proud, Long Fei controlled the corner of his mouth as he smiled sinisterly. "Who said that I can't go on anymore?" With one hand, he grabbed the dark spear. The Sky Sword moved. He slashed horizontally. Shwa! Boom! The sword cut off the head of the General of Underworld. The huge head fell to the ground, but the General of Underworld's health did not drop to 0. Mingyu was slightly shocked, but he was not worried because the General of Underworld with its head cut off still had super strong fighting strength. So what if I behead him? However, is decapitating okay? What about dismembering? Long Fei leaped high into the air, grabbed onto the Sky Sword with both of his hands, and ruthlessly slashed at the body of the General of Underworld below him. He used all of his strength. The General of Underworld's body continued to explode. Not only was the Sky Sword injured on the surface, its strength lay in the moment the sword slashed down. It would cut off everything in its body. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Rumble, rumble. The General of Underworld's body continued to explode. The gouges on top of his head continued to crack. The sword split apart the corpse. The blood on top of the General of Underworld's head immediately exploded. Long Fei's eyes stared wide. Staring straight at Mingyu, who was on the sacrificial altar, he roared out loudly. "Mother of Asterisker! Who else is there?" Such savageness. So what if it was Mingyu? So what if you're a super monster? So what if it was a General of Underworld? The god of slaughter. Buddha blocking my path to kill Buddha. This is how I hang myself. Long Fei's roar, coupled with the arrogant and overbearing aura that came from Transformers' body, were extremely sharp. No one could stop them. However, the time for the arrogant god energy value was almost up. Long Fei didn't care in the slightest. As long as the General of Underworld gave him more arrogant god energy value, he could release it again. It was also at this time. The system sounded out. Ding! Chapter 2348. I am dying. Chapter 2348. I am dying. General of Underworld S were monsters that were so powerful, they could definitely go berserk. There would definitely be a huge explosion. He had to go all out. Long Fei's heart suddenly tightened, and he thought to himself, "First shrimp, bless me. I don't want anything else. I only want striking energy value. As long as I can have striking energy value, none of this will be a problem." Right now, what he lacked the most was striking energy value. The moment he had 100 points, he would be able to release the astral energy again. However, this General of Underworld was something Ming Yu had created using the power of Nether. Whether it could explode or not was a question. Bring it on. Boom. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing General of Underworld for obtaining 160,000 experience. True Chi points. 200,000. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Underworld Spear. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Body Fusion Beast, General of Underworld. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up, currently at the 6th grade of Chi Refining. Holy SH *T. System, isn't your mother F ** King Deceit? What does Lousy want, if not what? Is there something like yours? Just go eat shit. Long Fei was about to collapse, so it could be said that he had no choice but to take the items that the General of Underworld dropped. Underworld Spear, Divine Level, and he even dropped the War Beast, General of Underworld. This fellow must be exceptionally valiant. But only Long Fei did not have the striking energy value he wanted. If this wasn't a scam, then what was? What a troll. But the system is the system, and it will not change just because of a single word from Long Fei. Even if it is your 18 generations of scammers, you still wouldn't be able to do anything. Long Fei looked up into the sky. He had a feeling that the creator of the system was somewhere watching him, and in an instant, he could give out a string of commands, changing the drop rate of every monster. It could even turn a super boss into 0 experience. Just like GM, I want you to live, I want you to die. Even in the water, he would be instantly killed. Don't let me find you. Otherwise, if I don't beat your shit out of you, it'll be considered my loss. Long Fei thought fiercely in his heart. According to his memories from his previous life, those beasts that looked like aliens and wore thick armors were all planted in his body. Or a disguised human. Long Fei didn't know. But he was sure that the game system in his body had a creator, and he felt that these creators were watching him from somewhere. Huff. Long Fei took a deep breath. I want to become stronger and transcend the control of the system. Only then will I be able to surpass the existence of the system. However, Long Fei looked at Ming Yu blankly with both his eyes as he muttered in his heart, I think it's best for me to think about how to preserve my life. Kill the General of Underworld. On the altar, Ming Yu was already furious. Ding! System notification. Arrogant God energy value time is over. F *CK. Long Fei cursed in his heart as he stared at Ming Yu, who was on the altar. Although he no longer had any arrogant God energy value, he could still use it. Long Fei's aura did not decrease at all. Ming Yu, you're just SOSO. Are you even worthy to mock me? It was insanity. Overpowered him. Ming Yu's eyes were sinister. The flames of fury were burning. Transformers could clearly feel the power in his body weakening. Boss, it's not good to anger him like this, and your strength. Long Fei said, no wonder you were imprisoned in such a place. You're the only one pretending with lousy cum. Not only did it not weaken, Long Fei became even more arrogant. Even the Transformers was a little afraid. Who was pretending? If his strength had been reduced to such a degree, how could he still be a match for Ming Yu? There has never been a person who dared to be so arrogant in front of me. Even Pluto back then. Even the Emperor Xian S did not dare to do so. How dare a puny human like you be so presumptuous? Do you think you are invincible just because you have Sky Sword? Do you think that you're powerful enough to kill a few of my Nether Demon Beast? Kid, you're still far from it. As soon as he finished, Ming Yu's crescent eyes fiercely glared. Rumble, power like the sea, roar like thunder. At this moment, Mingyu's power could be considered to have truly erupted, as the entire secret world was filled with a sea of netherworld power, while Long Fei was like a small boat in the ocean. So King strong. Long Fei's heart tightened. Who would have thought that not only did he not manage to suppress Mingyu, he had actually provoked Mingyu's super anger. Moreover, what was even worse was, ding, system notification. The parasitic possession spell's time is up. Long Fei's last two energies had been completed. The idea moved. He went straight back to his original body. Transformers was a demon beast of the ninth step. Be it his body or his strength, both were countless times stronger than Long Fei's original body. But now, if he went back to his original body, a 6th grade Chi refining martial artist could kill him 100,000 times in an instant, much less the netherworld great wave. F***CK. Long Fei cursed in his heart. It's truly raining at night. I really want to die. Transformers immediately felt Long Fei leaving his body. His expression also shook as he exclaimed in his heart, "This is bad. Boss, you're saying it's almost time, and he's still acting so arrogantly. This time it's good enough. This fellow must be infuriated." Sigh. Transformers felt a boundless sea of power. He protected Long Fei behind him and said, "Boss, I will endure all of these attacks. You must find a chance to escape. Flee." Humph. Mingyu was enraged and said, "All of you must die." Boom. A roar of rage rang out. The sea of netherworld Umbra flowers started to move. Boundless lightning appeared on their bodies and wreaked havoc. In an instant, boom, a huge wave of energy swirled up. Transformers bit the bullet and roared loudly, using all of his strength to block in front of Long Fei. Rumble. Long Fei's heart sank. He clenched his sky sword tightly and sent it flying with a sword strike. However, 6th grade Chi refining. Too weak. This level of power was completely useless in this situation. Transformers blocked it instantly. Boom. Transformers let out a furious roar as his body was instantly thrown to the ground. He tried to push himself up with his arms, but before he could get up, a huge wave of energy smashed down. Rumble. He once again lay flat on the ground, blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. It couldn't be duped. Their strength was not on the same level at all. It was too hard to bear. "Boss, quick, run." Rumble. Transformers was directly knocked unconscious. Mingyu stared at Long Fei coldly and said, "Run? I want to see where I can run to." Long Fei's eyes darkened. His right hand clenched tightly as he said, Long Fei's dictionary does not have the word run." With a heavy leap, he flew towards the altar. "Humph, you overestimate yourself." Mingyu let out a cold laugh. The netherworld Umbra flower surged to a height of 10 meters as the netherworld Umbra flower smashed down heavily. Kid, dying. Chapter 2349, Sky Sword, Spirits of the 10,000 Swords. Chapter 2349, Sky Sword, Spirits of the 10,000 Swords. From all directions, the tide of power. Each wave of energy was like a huge tentacle. Without waiting for Long Fei to rush up the altar. Rumble, rumble, rumble. From all directions, howls and explosions could be heard. That scene, it was impossible to put into words. Long Fei was instantly engulfed by the wild tide of energy. Moreover, all the bones in his body seemed to have shattered at that instant. Then his consciousness disappeared. In the end, when his mind became clear, he muttered in his heart, "I'm going to die. I'm sorry." Thinking about Long Zhanting in the Dragon Abyss dungeon, looking at the dozen or so chains piercing Long Zhanting's body and how Long Wutian ravaged Long Zhanting crazily. Although it was only a dream, Long Fei couldn't help but feel very uncomfortable in his heart. He wanted to save Long Zhanting, but now he couldn't save anyone. He was going to die. Along the way, although it had only been a few short months, Long Fei did not regret it at all. 18 years later, I will be a good man again. Long Fei roared in his heart, and then he was completely unconscious. Dead alive? Long Fei was no longer able to control it. Arrogant in front of me? What are you? Mingyu was furious. He was born in the ancient world, even earlier than him in this world. Even the king of hell would have to respect him when seeing him. Even the current master of the universal world, the Emperor Xian, would not dare to act arrogantly towards him upon seeing him. A small human. A human who was only in the chi refining stage. What is it? Arrogant in front of him? Could Mingyu hold it in? No. As he watched Long Fei being engulfed by the surging energy from all directions, he coldly disdained. You overestimate yourself. It was extremely disdainful. However, and it was also at this moment that Ming Yu's eyes turned sinister. Because, under the waves of power, a strange light burst out and flickered. At this moment, boom, a sky-piercing power suddenly shot out. Wong, the sword hummed. It was extremely ear-piercing, and even Ming Yu had a painful expression on his face. The surrounding ocean of netherworld energy was also instantly crushed down, and the secret world became quiet. Long Fei fell onto the ground, his face pale white, as if he had died without any expression. Ming Yu trembled slightly and said, Sky Sword, you follow him because he has no future. You are the first sword of primordial times, and you are the spirit of the 10,000 swords. You were born from ancient times. Why would you follow a trash like him? Without waiting for Ming Yu to finish. Suddenly, a ray of light shot out from the sky, sword floating in the air. The light came out of the sky sword and transformed into a humanoid female, just like a fairy in a painting. Otherwise, there would be no life on Earth. The aura of a myriad sword spirit emanated from his entire body. Without waiting for Ming Yu to finish, he immediately interrupted him and said furiously, Try saying that trash again. Do you believe that I won't cut you into two? Anger. Sword spirit's fury. Moreover, in the instant that the sword spirit got angry, buzzing sound could be heard. The entire secret world, and even the entire Xianyu mountain range, released a series of sword hums, as though they were completely out of their control. In the valley, the sword of the Black Crow warrior began to tremble. It looked like it was about to fly out of the scabbard. Not only that, even the entire rock wall began to tremble intensely. It was as if the end of the world had come for this mountain of swords. Its power. This was too crazy. General, the Black Crow warrior looked at the Black Crow quickly. The expression on the crow was also ferocious sword intent. He had never seen such a strong sword intent. Just who could it be? Or whose treasure? And then, the crow glared at Yurong and asked, Did you really not get it? Yurong was also shocked in her heart. She had seen Long Fei use the Sky Ko before, but that kind of sword intent was completely different from the current one. Right now, the sword intent felt as if it was looking down on the heavens and the earth. Moreover, any sword intent would be useless in front of it. Has Long Fei become strong again? Is this the sword intent he was emitting? Yurong looked at the raven and said, If you have the guts, go in and get them. The crow snorted. What exactly is inside? Yurong said, You'll know once you get in. Xianyu Sect, Artifact Forging Pavilion. This included all the disciples who were using the swords. All of them were faintly trembling. The long sword at Yuanshan's waist could not be controlled. As he looked towards the direction of the Xianyu mountain range, what actually happened? Guo Qingshan also had a face full of astonishment. Too powerful sword intent. The Xianyu sect was in chaos. The sword intent was too strong. In the secret world, Ming Yu's eyes turned sinister. He was also a little afraid. He could easily crush Long Fei, but he could not suppress the angry sky sword spirit. Moreover, although he was born from the same ancient world, he was still born from the same seal. Ming Yu said solemnly, I don't understand. Why did you choose such a person? I don't see any potential in him. Blood vein-s don't have blood vein. His talent is average. It's just a few miraculous cultivation techniques. There's only one of it. Ming Yu wanted to say the word trash again, but he endured it. This kind of person isn't worthy of you at all. That was the truth. Grandmist's first sword. a divine weapon bred by the ancient world. How could a mere chi refining stage cultivator from a low plane of the universal world be worthy of the first sword strike of the primordial era? However, the sky sword spirit was ice cold as it said, "What the F***CK are you doing?" Mingyu was startled. He could not see anything wrong with Long Fei. In his eyes, even if it was the gifted soul of Underworld S, he would not even spare a glance for them. There was no hint of surprise on Long Fei's body. Sky Sword Spirit said, "Do you think that you can see everything in the world with just your eyes? Do you think that the thing nurtured by your ancient world is that powerful? Damn it, there are some things that even Duke Ming would not be able to see if he was alive, let alone Emperor Xian." Sky Sword Spirit ruthlessly looked down on him. Mingyu was a little unhappy. His eye could see everything in the world. Blood vein, talent, potential. He could see everything clearly. Even if it was the blood vein S on Emperor Xian, he could still see their talent very clearly. Even if he was being trapped by the seal, how could he not see the situation clearly? Mingyu said solemnly, "You can doubt me, but you cannot doubt my judgment of him. He is just a weak and lowly warrior. The blood vein on his body, his inherent skill, everything is trash. No, even trash would not be able to match up to him, because he does not have any inherent skills." Mingyu was also very angry. The Sky Sword Spirit was very high and cold, and it made her feel very disdainful when she looked at Mingyu. However, to prove that Mingyu was an eyesore, Sky Sword Spirit said coldly, "Look at him clearly." Suddenly, a ray of light shone down from the Sky Sword Spirit onto Long Fei's body. Immediately, a mark appeared on Long Fei's left arm. Mingyu was startled. A high-level mark of the Ming clan? Descendant of the Ming clan? Sky Sword Spirit was very dissatisfied. He shouted, "Look carefully." Next, a dragon-shaped mark appeared on Long Fei's right arm. And it was also at this moment that Ming Yu's expression changed, as his eyes stared intently at the imprint that faintly appeared on Long Fei's right arm. "Master! Mastermind, my master?" Unbelievable. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. He was completely dumbfounded. Mingyu muttered, "Master." Chapter 2350. I want to bring him back to Ancient World. Chapter 2350. I want to bring him back to Ancient World, Master. Mingyu called him Master? Sky Sword Spirit was also slightly shocked. She only wanted to let Mingyu know about the hidden power in Long Fei's body, and only wanted to let him know how powerful Long Fei was. Sky Sword Spirit was puzzled. Master? One had to know. Even Pluto did not call him Master back then. Just how powerful was Pluto? He was once the strongest person in the ancient world. Even he did not truly manage to tame Mingyu, and now called him Master Long Fei. It was shocking. Mingyu said, "The imprint on his body. Only my master has one, the ancient world, one of a kind." Sky Sword Spirit said, "Isn't that the Dragon Clan's mark?" Dragon-shaped mark was naturally the dragon race's mark. There were many in the ancient world dragon race, so this kind of imprint was not unique. Mingyu said, "No, the Dragon Clan's imprint is different from the imprint on his body. To be exact, it should be as created the Dragon Clan. That's why the Dragon Clan's imprint is similar to the imprint on his body." The Sky Sword Spirit was shocked. The dragon race was created by him? Mingyu said, "You don't know anything at all. Perhaps no one in this world knows about this, but I'm very clear that before the appearance of the Ming clan, when the ancient times were born, my master was already here. He could be said to be an existence that was born in the ancient world at the same time. During that chaotic era, he represented the ancient world and held all of their power. It was also because I was taught a lesson by my master that I was born in the ancient world and became Ming Yu's eye. There were still many people who were taught by my master back then, but now, I wonder if those brothers are still here." Ming Yu's heart was filled with yearning. That period of domineering days with Long Fei was the most unforgettable moment in his life. Too nostalgic. However, Long Fei suddenly disappeared from behind. Without Long Fei there, none of them would be willing to obey. which resulted in all of them being separated, some even becoming enemies to the point of killing each other. Countless years had passed. How many could still survive in this world? Mingyu wasn't sure either. Long Fei disappeared. He searched everywhere, but he couldn't find anything. Also at that time, the ancient world's nurture gradually took shape, and one after another ancient inheritance was born, and the universal large world also slowly perfected it. After which, Pluto appeared. The reason why Mingyu chose to be Hades was because Hades was capable of bringing him out of this place. He wanted to find Long Fei in another plane, but he couldn't find it no matter how hard he tried. Even if he used all his strength, he wouldn't be able to find it. Now, Mingyu himself wouldn't believe it, but he recognized that mark, and it was extremely familiar. Only his master would have such a mark. Ancient inheritance mark. The same. It was also the first inheritance in the ancient world. It was also the most powerful legacy. It could be said that all of the inheritance power that the current ancient world possessed came from Long Fei, so he was the father of all inheritances. She did not know much about this. After she appeared beside Long Fei and familiarized herself with the information, she knew that her mission was to protect Long Fei. She didn't know about her previous life's master. Just like Long Fei, her memories had also been sealed by the seal because of the sky sword. Master, is it you? Is it really you? Mingyu grew excited, feeling extremely guilty in his heart. And he also hated himself to the extreme. It's all my fault. It's all my fault for being blind. I'm sorry. No one could understand the pain in his heart. If not for Long Fei, he would not have been able to become an adult, even after hundreds of billions of years of cultivation. Yet, he had beat his own master down to the ground. This pain, Mingyu wished for nothing more than to kill himself. Sky Sword Spirit said, "He's not dead yet, but we were just a bit off. I deserve to die. If I kill my master, I will never forgive myself." Mingyu said fiercely with a lonely look in his eyes. Looking at the Long Fei who was lying on the ground, he felt extremely uncomfortable. Sky Sword Spirit also looked at Long Fei. She just couldn't understand it. How could he be your master? Isn't he the descendant of the dragon clan? Mingyu had no reason to lie to him, and it was not necessary, because Mingyu began to look down on Long Fei. This sudden turn of events made Mingyu feel as if he had committed a heinous crime. The person born with the ancient world, what kind of person is he? The Sky Sword Spirit muttered to itself. She still couldn't imagine it. If it was really as Mingyu had said, then this man in front of him was really too strong. His potential talent, maybe even the God's Tribe S, could not compare to it. Sky Sword Spirit asked, "What do you plan to do now?" Mingyu replied without thinking, "I don't know why Master has become like this, but no matter what price I have to pay, I will make him return to the peak of the ancient world. I want to bring him back to ancient world. The ancient world is his stage. This low plane of existence will only hinder his progress. Only the power of the ancient world will allow him to grow quickly. The ancient world gave birth to everything. It was like the original world of everything. Amongst the source energy, the training speed was the fastest. The strongest person in the ancient world back then was now a low-level warrior who had fallen to the lower realms. Mingyu felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He could do whatever he wanted if he saw someone in a bad mood. Every living being in the ancient world was afraid of him. Sky Sword Spirit said, "Return to the ancient world?" Mingyu said, "That's right. As long as he returns to the ancient world, he believes that his strength will rapidly increase, and that he might be able to unlock the inheritance seal in his body as well. As long as he releases all of the inherited powers of the ancient world and unleashes all of its power, then not to mention the Emperor Xian, even if all of the powerhouse of God's tribe combined, they would not be his match." He had seen Long Fei's power before. Emperor Xian is nothing. Moreover, at that time, Long Fei's ancient inheritance had not yet been cultivated to the great perfection stage. At this moment, Sky Sword Spirit suddenly said, "You even yourself are trapped by the seal, and you still want to bring him to the ancient world? I ask you, how are you going to take him?" A bucket of ice water was poured over him. Mingyu instantly became a little foolish. Sky Sword Spirit continued. Since he is your master, then have you thought about how he became like this? Is this one of his own arrangements? Or should I say, back then, he encountered an enemy that he could not defeat? He needs to start training again, and he has many seal S on him. The Ming clan's mark is sealed by the seal, and the dragon-shaped mark is also sealed by the seal. If you bring him back to the ancient world, what if his legacy's seal cannot be undone? What's more, right now, he is only a low-level warrior on the Zhenwu continent. His body, his mind, and everything else is unable to withstand the power of the ancient world. Do you want to bring him back to the ancient world? Sky Sword Spirit said fiercely. Can we go back? Chapter 2351. Consumption of Soul Blood Essence. Chapter 2351. Consumption of Soul Blood Essence returned to the ancient world? Too far away. Not to mention the seal on Mingyu's body. Even if he was at his peak state, he would still not be able to bring Long Fei back to ancient world. He couldn't hold it for even a second. Long Fei was only a low-leveled warrior now. Returning to the ancient world, simply impossible. Hearing the Sky Sword's words, Mingyu became silent. Indeed, I can't go back. If he couldn't even handle the seal on himself, how could he go back? After a long time, Mingyu said, Then what do we do? We can't let our master stay in this place, right? This low plane is not worthy of him at all. This sort of plane would only waste his time. In Mingyu's heart, not even the universal realm in the center of universal world was worthy of Long Fei. The Sky Sword Spirit said, he chose to walk this path himself, so he has his reasons. His ancient inheritance did not awaken, and his memories also did not awaken. All we can do is to wait and believe. Waiting for him to break through everything. I need to believe that he can break through everything. Sky Sword Spirit looked at Long Fei, who was lying on the ground. She also wanted to know why she came to his side and why she wanted to protect him. What kind of man was this? How many secrets did he have? To be born together with the ancient world, how unbelievable was this? Mingyu became silent again. After a long time, Mingyu looked at the Sky Sword Spirit and said, Can you help me? Sky Sword Spirit replied, Speak. Mingyu said, Help me break open the seal. I want to stay by boss's side. Back then he protected me, but now I want to protect him no matter what. Sky Sword Spirit glanced at the altar and said, This formation rune and its basics, with my current strength, I can't see any way to break it. She was still too weak. She wasn't too sure. Mingyu said, Do as I say. I will transfer all of the power of Nether in my body to you, and use my power to break the seal. Sky Sword Spirit said, All right, I'll try. And then, Mingyu's eyes shook, and he said, Sky Point, Dark Profound. Attack. The Sky Sword Spirit moved slightly. Next, all of the Netherworld power in the entire secret world rushed into the Sky Sword. The Sword Spirit was slightly shocked. The power was too strong. Moreover, this was not the normal power of the Netherworld Adumbra flower, but the Soul Blood's profound chi. This was releasing the power of his ancient inheritance. If he consumed too much of it, Mingyu's life would be in danger. The Sky Sword was also born from the ancient world, and her body similarly possessed the power of ancient inheritance, which was why she was worried for Mingyu. If he messed up, he would be burnt to ashes. Mingyu was very indifferent and said, Don't worry about me. I will be fine. Right now, just do as I say. He once searched everywhere for Long Fei's footprints. After searching for who knows how many years, there was no news. He even thought that Long Fei was dead. But now, after discovering his master, this time, he couldn't afford to miss the opportunity. No matter what, he had to accompany Long Fei by his side. Once, he was just a small spring, allowing others to trample on him. Long Fei treated him as a brother and protected him with his life. In this life, he wanted to protect Long Fei for eternity. The first step he had to do now was to use the breaking through the seal and walk out of Secret World. Sky Sword Spirit nodded and said, Okay. The sword intent moved. The powerful netherworld soul blood spirit essence followed the sky, soared as it pierced through the air, and struck a spot on the altar. In an instant, buzz! The sacrificial altar hummed and exploded. Mingyu then said, Tian Shu, Zen, acupoint, break. Chua! The sky sword struck out again. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The sacrificial altar continued to crack, and when it exploded, the entire secret world felt as if it was crumbling. Xianyu mountain range was also in an uproar. In the valley. What is that sound? The secret world is collapsing. Long Fei. Along. Yurong shouted loudly towards the crow. If you go in and save him, I'll give the thing to you right now. Xiao Dai immediately asked, Sister, what exactly is inside? How is Along? The huge bloke wanted to charge into the secret world, but the Black Crow warrior held him down tightly, unable to move. He roared continuously, Let me go, I want to go in, let me go. Black Crow looked at the cliff and felt a violent vibration. He laughed coldly and said to Yurong, Didn't I say it before? You must have brought that thing out with you. Leave it to me. Yurong said, As long as you send someone to save him, I will definitely give it to you. If you can't, even if you kill me, you won't be able to get that thing. Black Crow's eyes darkened. Are you threatening me? Yurong said, I'm doing business with you. You save people, I will give you things, but doesn't your Zhou family always want it? Now I can tell you, that thing is able to absorb the Emperor's Qi of the Zhao family, which is also the power of the Dragon Fountain. Yurong said heavily, even though it was a little exaggerated, but what she said was not wrong. Mingyu was a sacred object of the Ming clan. He indeed had the power to defy the heavens and change fate. The raven's eyes narrowed as its heart skipped a beat. Is this what the great general wants? There's actually such a divine object in the world. Absorb the Emperor's Qi and break the blood vessels of the royal family. In this way, whoever possesses it will gain unparalleled power. The crow became excited. Everyone wanted the unparalleled power of Jizun. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The sound of explosions continuously rang out from within the secret world. The demon beast in the Xianyu mountain range trembled, crawling on the ground as it continuously let out low roars of fear. The valley shook and the earth cracked. Yurong's expression was anxious as he said, Quickly go in and save him. The corners of the crow raised as he looked at the entrance of the secret world and said, All right, but you must keep your word. Yurong said, Don't worry, Yurong will definitely keep my promise. He was overjoyed. Black Crow's cultivation was very strong, at least above hers. If he just wanted to save Long Fei, even if he wanted her to die, she would be willing to. If she did not take Mingyu out, Ming clan would definitely be unhappy with her. Maybe he would let her leave the Xianyu sect and train hard in the wilderness. She was too tired of living. She wanted to live for herself. If she could save Long Fei, she was willing to use her own life in exchange. The crow took a few steps forward with a cold smile on its face. Suddenly, the crow moved, turning into a black shadow. Swish! At the same time, a blood crow flew out of the black shadow. Before Yurong could react, it rushed into her body, and, at the same time, the black shadow descended. Ha! Ha ha! The crow laughed out loud. Yurong's face shook. He had been tricked. Who did you say was out of luck? Who did you say was out of luck? She thought that the Black Crow would enter the secret world. Even if he didn't enter, he wouldn't have attacked her. Then again, Yurong was very worried for Long Fei, because she knew the situation inside and how strong Mingyu was. He had let the crow take advantage of the moment of carelessness. The crow turned around and sneered. You want me to go in and die? Do you think I'd be that stupid? Since the item is already in your hands, it doesn't matter whether he dies or not. Yurong, if you know what's good for you, hand it over. Otherwise, Black Crow was not anxious at all. At first, he was still a little worried. But now, the crow had a confident smile on his face. Yurong said, If you don't save him, don't even think about getting anything. Is that so? The crow sneered and said, Do you know what the thing that just entered your body is? The blood crows that have been nurtured by my blood essence have no other uses than to nibble away at your divine sense. When that time comes, you will become my puppet, and you think that I won't be able to obtain anything from you. Forget about the things on your body. You can be considered your body. I can play around with you however I want to. The body of Zhao Guo's #1 beauty should be pretty good, right? Ha ha! The crow laughed complacently. Xiao Dai scolded, shameless, shameless. Black Crow said, I am despicable. I am shameless. What can you do about it? Weak. You're just an ant. Thin Monkey said, you are cultivating a devil art. Black Crow laughed. You're right. I am indeed cultivating a demonic art. So what? Earong, obediently hand over your things. If you don't become a puppet, then I won't be enjoying your life, and my Black Crow army will enjoy your beautiful body. At that time, ha! The crow laughed excitedly. The surrounding Black Crow warrior also revealed a perverted smile. Earong sat cross-legged. Buzz. The energy in his body jolted. Hiss. Earong took in a deep breath of cold air, and her entire body suddenly trembled. There was a trace of demonic energy moving in her body and consuming her profound chi. I forgot to tell you, as long as you channel your chi to resist it, it will immediately activate. At first, it won't be able to move, but now it's alive. It's about to devour your consciousness. Only I have the antidote. As long as you hand it over obediently, I'll help you cure the antidote. The crow became excited and fell into his trap step by step. Perfect. Earong tried a few times. The more she blocked, the stronger the blood crows became. It was just as the crows had said. The blood crow began to nibble away at his divine sense. Once it was under control, she would turn into a puppet. However, Earong didn't like to admit defeat. She could even forcibly resist the poison of the everlasting burning sword. She definitely wouldn't let a mere blood crow do as it pleased. In that instant, a Ming clan cultivation technique was activated inside Eorong's body. Streams of power of nether were sucked into Eorong's body from the ground. The crow's eyes widened. Demonic art? I never thought that the dignified young sect master of the Xianyu sect would actually cultivate devil arts as well. However, it's too late now. While they were talking, Black Crow's eyes moved. A Black Crow warrior punched Xiao Dai in the abdomen. Xiao Dai could not help but scream. Black Crow laughed. Don't even think about resisting. The more you resist, the more unbearable it will be for you. These people should be your friends, right? You don't want to see them all die here, do you? Eorong, hand over the thing obediently, and I'll spare your lives. Xiao Dai endured the pain and said, Sister E, don't worry about us. Thin Monkey also said, don't worry about us. Long Fei's life and death was unknown. Now, Eorong was poisoned again. Under these circumstances, even if they handed over the items, the crow wouldn't let them off either. Even a fool would understand. Seeing that Eorong had closed his eyes slightly, the Black Crow became angry inside. He grabbed the Thin Monkey and said solemnly, Didn't you say that you want me to go and save him? There must be something horrible in there, right? With one hand, he grabbed Thin Monkey and suddenly smashed towards the entrance of the secret world. Boom! Thin Monkey's body was instantly engulfed by the secret world. Eorong frowned. There were many super monster S inside, but they were not main clan S. The moment he entered the secret world, he would be immediately sensed by the demon beast and instantly sliced into pieces. Yo, you're beginning to worry? Haha, I already said, as long as you hand over the item, I will spare your lives. The crow said coldly. Eorong did not speak. However, the crow had something to be patient about. A warrior said, General, let's cripple her first. Black Crow smiled slightly and said, Your suggestion is not bad. First, I will cripple you and then let my brothers have a good time. Zhao was #1 beauty. While they were talking, the crow moved. Eorong's eyes opened wide and summoned the Xianyu underworld wheel on her right hand. Without waiting for the crow to attack, she charged out first and shouted in her heart, Dark technique. You Mingwa. The Xianyu underworld will split in half and suddenly flew out. A strong power of the netherworld, a Dumbra flower, burst out from Eorong's body. She had been secretly gathering her strength ever since she sat down cross-legged. She did not resist the Blood Crow's attacks. He had been waiting for the Black Crows to make their move. In terms of cultivation, Eorong and the black figure were still not that far away. However, a sudden explosion. Eorong moved with all his might. Rumble. Netherwheel's left and right bags. Black Crow's expression froze. He did not expect Eorong to be able to unleash such a powerful force, and by the time he could react, it was already too late. In the blink of an eye, boom! A powerful move struck the crow directly on its abdomen. The raven exploded. Eorong was even faster. He did not wait for the crow to land on the ground. He continuously used his powerful killing move and attacked crazily. Bang, bang, bang. The crow was knocked back consecutively and was caught unprepared by the attack. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. He was sent flying and crashed into a rock, crashing to the ground. Eorong's face turned sinister and did not let it go. The Black Crow was at least at the 8th stage of the refinement realm, and it was one of the people close to Zhou Yao's own. It must have had a protective treasure on it, which could be clearly felt from the attack just now. They definitely could not let him get up again. Otherwise, all of them would die. At this moment, Eorong became like an ice-cold god of death. Attack quickly. However, suddenly, a sharp pain came from her abdomen. The wound was torn and blood flowed out. His movements and speed instantly slowed down. At this moment, Black Crow crawled up from the ground and saw Eorong's abdomen. His expression immediately changed. So, you are the one who cut off the Crown Prince's life. The one who was heavily injured by the everlasting burning sword in Zhao Wuji's hands. Haha, I didn't expect it to be you. Then this time, you'll be even more unlucky. Immediately, the crow glared ferociously and was about to charge out. At this moment, a person stood at the entrance of Secret World and asked, "Who do you think is going to be unlucky?" Chapter 23:53 Lousy is invincible. Chapter 23:53 Lousy is invincible. The wound on Eorong's abdomen was torn apart as a sharp pain assaulted him. The poison in the limitless burning sword seemed to have exploded all of a sudden. This poison, the more you use the true chi, the more powerful your energy become, and the fiercer the backlash will be. However, Eorong didn't have a choice. Moreover, the Black Crow already knew that she was the one who destroyed the Crown Prince's lifeline. If this matter were to spread, she wouldn't have to worry about it, but the entire Xianyu sect would be in dire straits. Xianyu sect still didn't have the energy to fight against the entire Zhaogua. Thus, she tried her best. She had originally thought that she had succeeded in her sneak attack. She had underestimated the Black Crow's strength. Now that the wound had been torn apart and her entire body was in intense pain, she had lost her best chance, and it was also her only chance. At this moment, no one could save her. Black Crow also laughed complacently. I didn't expect the heavens to give me such a great gift. Ha ha! Eorong, you're in for it today. Not waiting for him to finish, a person stood at the entrance of Secret World and coldly asked, "Who's going to be unlucky?" Suddenly, a cold voice was heard. Everyone looked towards the Secret World's entrance. Long Fei. Eorong's eyes lit up and immediately revealed a smile, not knowing why, but the moment she saw Long Fei, her tensed heart seemed to relax. Moreover, a sense of security that he had never experienced before filled his entire body. With Long Fei here, she didn't have to worry about anything. This feeling was very special. It made her feel dependent, more dependent. Xiao Dai was also overjoyed. Along, you're finally back. The big bloke said naively, "Boss, the thin monkey has been thrown into the Secret World." Not waiting for him to finish, Thin Monkey also came out from the Secret World. He chuckled and stared at the crow. "Your father is still alive. Do you want to kill me?" "You are still far from it." If not for Thin Monkey being there in time, Long Fei would probably still be in Secret World. Moreover, he was still unconscious. He had no idea what had happened after he had fainted. He only felt a powerful force suddenly entering his body. It was also at that moment that he woke up and everything around him returned to calm. Mingyu, who was on the altar, was gone. The sky sword returned to its usual rusty look. The surrounding super monster had all disappeared as well. The pain on Long Fei's body had also disappeared. Everything seemed to have never happened before. Long Fei was puzzled. He believed that something must have happened while he was unconscious. In that situation, Mingyu would never let him off, unless something happened. But what had happened? Long Fei didn't know either. However, he could clearly feel that there was a spring in his body. It was like a clear spring gently rolling about. It was very small, and it silently moved deep within his heart. How could there be a spring in the body? Long Fei was extremely shocked at the time, but he realized the spring water from the spring allowed his health point to continuously recover. In other words, it was the same when he was in the spring water. Unless he was killed instantly, his health point would continue to recover. Awesome. Spring of life. Immortal spring. Long Fei possessed an unlimited true qi. Now, a spring suddenly appeared within his body, continuously healing him and replenishing his health point, which also meant that he had an unlimited lifespan. Bug, this is the absolute bug, ha ha ha. Long Fei was overjoyed. Right now, unless it was a super boss that could instantly kill him in a few moves, he was invincible. Just like that. Seeing the thin monkey enter the secret world, Long Fei immediately rushed out. He no longer studied the stone door behind the altar. His intuition told him that there was definitely something behind the stone door. He would first settle the matters outside, and then use the wind-water secret technique to probe. When the black crow saw Long Fei, its face was filled with disdain. What can you do? The black crow had never placed Long Fei in his eyes. To him, as a qi-refining martial practitioner, no matter how powerful he was, he wouldn't be able to overturn the heavens. Thin Monkey immediately scolded, "Cripple your ancestors!" The crow glared at him and shouted, "You're courting death." At this moment, the two Black Crow warriors quickly rushed forward. Xiao Dai immediately shouted out, along, "Be careful!" Long Fei stood in place without moving an inch. The two Black Crow warriors brandished their large swords and chopped down at Long Fei's head. It was a simple, sharp, and extremely powerful attack. "Brat, hand your life over. Die!" The two fiercely slashed down. Long Fei remained motionless. His eyes coldly looked at the two people who were charging at him. Even a Thin Monkey was a little worried. Long Fei was too calm. It was as if he hadn't seen anything. Just as the Black Crow warrior descended, Long Fei raised his eyes and was stunned. The sky sword moved, phantom sword dance. His target, one of the two, he ignored the other person. Schwa. The phantom sword dance's sword chi was instantly released by Long Fei. The sword chi raged and immediately killed a Black Crow warrior. At the same time, Long Fei's body also suffered a heavy blow. Boss! Long Fei. Blood splattered everywhere, and his skin was lacerated. The crow immediately laughed out loud. "Ha! How dare a mere trash show off to my Black Crow warrior? You're courting death." After this saber strike, even if an ordinary chi condensation cultivator did not die from the pain, half of their life would have been gone. So what if Long Fei killed a Black Crow warrior? He was only half alive now. The successful Black Crow warrior revealed a sinister smile. "Brat, you still dare to act cool with your cultivation? You're too weak. Now, go to hell." As soon as he finished, the Black Crow warrior attacked again. But right at this moment, Long Fei's mouth curved upwards, revealing a faint smile, and said, "Oh, is that so? I can't act cool. Then, you could pretend?" As he spoke, the wound on Long Fei's back healed in a manner visible to the naked eye. In a short 2 seconds, the wound on his back completely healed without even a scar. It was as if the knife wound had never happened. The heck? Extremely perverted. This. Impossible. You were clearly severely injured. On your back. The Black Crow warrior was confused. The wound on his back could be said to be healing. Was there such a thing in the world? Absolutely impossible. No matter how good a spiritual medicine was, it would not be able to do this. The surrounding people were all startled as well. Black Crow's eyes turned sinister as he stared at Long Fei and thought to himself, "What technique is this? Or could it be that this person has some powerful soul treasure? It must be. There is definitely a soul treasure." Immediately, the crows shouted kill. Without waiting for the Black Crow warrior to attack, Long Fei took a step ahead and slashed down with his sword. Chapter 2354, Carrying a Spring Water Dance. Chapter 2354, Carrying a Spring Water Dance Schwa. With a slash of his sword, the stunned Black Crow warrior was immediately sliced in half by the Sky Sword. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Black Crow warrior for obtaining 10,000 experience, 1,000 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. Damn, there's another change in my experience. Seems like it really is the same as in the game. The higher my level, the less experience I get from other monsters at the same level. Long Fei muttered to himself. It was also at this time. A few Black Crow warriors charged forward. They quickly surrounded Long Fei. Long Fei was not afraid in the slightest. His skills were mostly on cooldown, but right now, he doesn't have to be afraid. As long as you can't kill me with one move, then I won't die. Facing these Black Crow warriors, Long Fei smiled coldly and said, "You have come to give me your experience again." Yirong said faintly, "Long Fei, be careful. These Black Crow warriors are very strong." Xiao Dai also said along, "Be careful." Long Fei looked at them and said, "You should be careful of them. Don't you know how strong I am?" Xiao Dai didn't know. However, Yirong was very clear that Long Fei had once again had a fortuitous encounter. She couldn't understand. The Mingyu in the secret world was a sacred artifact in the Ming clan. She did not even spare her gifted soul of underworld a glance. How did Long Fei manage to encounter such a fortuitous opportunity? Mingyu had her eyes on him? Or could it be he entered another secret world? She couldn't understand. However, she had to enter the secret world again to see what was happening. After all, that was a sacred artifact of the Ming clan, the third eye of Pluto. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The Black Crow warrior moved at the same time, as if it was fighting a battle. A powerful and sharp attack aimed at Long Fei. Kill. Die. Long Fei did not bother about him at all. He locked onto a person and said, "Are you that arrogant?" He rushed forward. He did not bother with their defenses, nor did he care about their attacks. It was as if they were air, which Long Fei did not care at all. The Sky Sword slightly moved. A powerful sword chi burst out, and his target was instantly killed. At the same time, Long Fei's entire body was once again covered in numerous blade wounds. Xiao Dai was so scared that his face turned pale. Yirong was also extremely worried. Even in this situation, he probably wouldn't be able to survive. But Long Fei, he didn't care about it at all. In just a second or two, the wounds on his body healed automatically, as if he had seen a ghost. The speed of the healing was so fast that it was terrifying. How could such a person be killed? Damn you! You hit me so hard, you have to die. In the split second that the Black Crow warriors were stunned, Long Fei attacked forcefully and killed a few more people. A system notification rang out. Ding, ding, ding. It felt so good. Others were dancing with coffins on their backs. This was amazing. That sort of waltz, that kind of elegance, that kind of calmness, that kind of elegance, that kind of posturing. However, where's Long Fei? He was dancing with the spring on his back. He was even more brutal and bloody. Are you strong? If you can't kill me, I will kill you in the next second. It was that simple and crude. After a few rounds, all the Black Crow warriors were completely stunned by Long Fei. It couldn't be fought at all. No matter how many injuries there were, Long Fei still wouldn't die and would instantly heal. How? Is he a human or a ghost? He's a ghost. There isn't such a person in this world. No matter how strong a person is, it's impossible for him to be like this. He's a ghost. General, too much is a ghost. He's not a human at all. He's a ghost that came from the secret world. It was too scary. Black Crow stared at Long Fei. He believed that there was a ghost in this world, but he definitely did not believe that Long Fei was a ghost. Suddenly, the crow disappeared and turned into a black shadow. Eorong immediately said, "Long Fei, be careful of his blood crow." This was the move from before. The blood crow was still in her body. It was also at this moment that, within the black shadow, a drop of blood essence turned into a blood crow. Like a lightning bolt, the blood crow quickly charged towards the center of Long Fei's brows. Within the void, Black Crow's voice rang out. "I want to see what exactly is inside your body. Be careful." Shwa. The blood crow rushed into the center of Long Fei's brows. Long Fei didn't have enough time to block. It could also be said that he didn't try to resist at all. The moment the blood crow rushed in, the black crow immediately laughed out loudly. "When my blood crow enters your body, you will immediately become my puppet." As soon as he finished, the crow formed a seal with his hands and chanted. His entire body was trembling as if he was a ghost. He was using a demonic art to incite the blood crows. At this moment, Eorong's face became even more pale. His brain felt like it was about to split open. It was extremely uncomfortable. The blood crow in her body was moving crazily, devouring her profound chi. She was in pain, and Long Fei felt the same. However, Long Fei was very calm. He looked at the crow calmly. "Holy *T. Is he a ghost or a god of jump? Have you been trembling uncontrollably this entire time? What's the situation?" The raven tried its best, but he was extremely confused in his heart. Unable to sense the existence of the black crow in Long Fei's body, he disappeared after entering Long Fei's body. This is impossible. Even if you have a soul treasure, it is impossible for you to have a soul treasure in your body. Black Crow frowned slightly. Long Fei said slightly and said, "Big Crow, are you on top of the devil?" Black Crow did not understand and stared at Long Fei. You aren't suffering at all?" Long Fei said, "What am I suffering for? Do I have to feel bad? All right then. Let me feel a bit uncomfortable." Long Fei feigned a pained look and said, I'm in so much pain, I feel so bad, Is that okay?" He didn't forget to ask the crow, even after finishing his sentence. The black crow's face was ashen. There had never been such a thing. This was a humiliation, and it was the same as slapping his face. The black crow gritted his teeth as he gave up trying to control the blood crow. He stared at Long Fei with a dark expression and said, "You dog, I want you to die." Shwa, a shadow flashed. A huge crow attacked, the 8th level of the refinement realm. Incomparable power. Black Crow shouted, "No matter what you have, but your cultivation is only at the chi refining stage. Let's see how you recover after I wrench your head off." If it was instantly killed, could it recover? That's impossible. Refinement realm. It was dozens of levels higher than Long Fei. Long Fei didn't have any powerful skills to support her now, so at this time, how could he resist it? He couldn't take it head-on, because he might be killed in an instant. However, Long Fei was still standing at his original position, motionlessly as he sneered, "I was just afraid that you wouldn't come." At this moment, at the entrance of Secret World, a huge figure walked out. Boom! Chapter 2355. There are no people in this world that I dare not kill. Chapter 2355. There are no people in this world that I dare not kill. In the past, when Long Fei killed people who were higher levels than him, he relied on techniques that were rewarded by the system. Powerful skill. If it was his own strength, let alone the essence refinement realm, he would not even be a match for those in the essence condensation realm. 8th level of refinement. Extremely powerful. Even if Long Fei could barely block one strike with all his might, he would definitely not be able to block the next. However, Long Fei was not worried. The moment the black crow charged towards Long Fei, an enormous figure walked out from the entrance of Secret World. A loud sound echoed out. The entire valley was trembling, just as the black crow struck its palm towards Long Fei. Shwa! Crack, crack! It was as if space was being torn apart. A fist struck out. The heavy steel gauntlet flashed with a cold light. It landed on the crow's palm. The crow had no time to react, nor could it. Are you really strong in the refinement realm? The level 9 mutated demon beast is stronger, and much stronger than you. In that instant, the crow's right arm was directly split open, and the bones beneath its skin flew out. It was as if its entire arm had been blown up by a bomb. Uff! He spat out a mouthful of blood. The crow retreated and rolled on the ground. Blood spurted out of its wounds. 100 meters away, a terrible scream rang out. What is it? The black crow raised his eyes and looked at Long Fei in the distance. Just now, it was an arm that flew out from the secret world. He had no idea what it was. Boom! Boom! With the sound of footsteps, an enormous body came out from secret world. It was armored with steel armor, and its body was like a mountain. Double punch in the chest. Roar! A roar. The sound waves were like waves as they swept out like a violent wind. This scene, they were completely shocked. Transformers walked out. What a strong power! This is the demon beast that was given by Long Fei. I never thought that it would actually become so powerful. What exactly is that elixir? Yurong could immediately tell that the Transformers was the demon beast that Long Fei had saved the last time. For a moment, he went from level 7 to level 9. He hadn't expected himself to be this strong. Too fierce. The refinement realm powerhouse was crippled with one punch. Demon beast. Level 9 demon beast. The black crow's face darkened. It never thought that there would be a level 9 demon beast, and one that would even help Long Fei. Long Fei grinned and said, "How is it? Is it good?" The crow endured the pain and swallowed a few pills before climbing up from the ground. He asked, "Your name is Long Fei?" Long Fei nodded and said, "That's right." Black Crow said, "All right, I'd admit defeat today, but the next time we meet, I will definitely not let you off." As soon as he finished, the black crow suddenly changed its form. The true chi rushed out, transforming into a little crow that teleported out in an instant. Yurong immediately said, "We can't let him escape." Black Crow knew about the injury on her abdomen. If this matter were to spread, Xinyu's sect would quickly fall into a crisis, and thousands of people in the sect would die. In a few days, the Zhao family's army would arrive. At that time, the consequences would be unimaginable. Of course, even without Yurong's reminder, Long Fei would not let the crow go because that was a powerhouse in the essence refinement realm, and that was a small boss. That was experience. Again, the woman who had injured his brother and injured him, she left just like that? His ancestor. Transformers. Long Fei shouted. Transformers immediately let out a furious roar, supporting himself with his 4 limbs. Boom! He immediately dashed out. The remaining Black Crow warrior in the valley looked at each other in dismay and immediately fled. "You want to escape?" "No way!" Long Fei shouted. Yurong also used his full strength and opened up his mind. She couldn't care about the pain in her abdomen right now. This matter definitely couldn't be spread out. The big bloke on the ground also roared and charged forward. The crane charged out after them. It was a full-on chase. Boom! Boom! Rumble! 10 minutes later, when Long Fei and the others returned to the valley, all of the Black Crow warrioress that had appeared in the valley just now had been cleaned up. Yurong's brows tightly knitted, his 2 hands tightly clenched together. "We must stop him. We must definitely stop him." Xiao Dai could not help but ask, "Sister Yi, did you really cut off the lifeline of the true dragon and heavenly son, Zhao Haotian?" Long Fei also looked over. He had guessed, but he wasn't sure. Yurong slightly said, "I don't like him at all. If it wasn't for Yi Changfeng, I wouldn't even go to the Divine Capital's engagement banquet. This is the only way to break off the engagement. With Zhao Haotian crippled, there would be no reason for him to marry her anymore." However, she did not expect Zhao Wuji to suddenly rush out to kill her. The power of the limitless burning sword was too strong. He had never seen such power in his life. The everlasting burning sword was a divine object that the gods' tribe rewarded to the Zhao family. It was the strongest weapon in the Zhenwu continent, and it was also highly toxic. Long Fei muttered, "What a tigress." Yurong immediately stared at Long Fei and asked, "What did you say?" Long Fei immediately looked elsewhere and said, "I didn't say anything." Xiao Dai said, "Well done, Sister E. We women should not marry men that we don't like. So what about the crown prince? Even the emperor? But if the Zhao family discovers it?" Yurong said, "So far, the Zhao family has not discovered anything. If Black Crow escaped then, she could not help but look at Long Fei. Now all hope rested on Long Fei. If the Transformers did not manage to catch up, then the Xianyu sect would probably be removed from the Zhenwu continent very soon. She doesn't matter. But the disciples of the Xianyu sect suffered a calamity." Long Fei said indifferently, "I believe in Transformers. He will definitely catch up." Yurong said, "But what if we can't catch up?" Long Fei said, "Even if you can't catch up, I will protect you, and will also protect the entire Xianyu sect." Yurong was moved. At this moment, the blood crow on Yurong's body suddenly disappeared. She was overjoyed as she said, "It's done. Transformers has done it." Half a minute later, Transformers walked into the valley while holding the dying crow in his hand. Long Fei laughed excitedly. "My little boss is back." The Black Crow's internal organs had all been destroyed by the Transformers. Looking at Long Fei, its eyes shrunk as it said, Don't kill me. If you kill me, the Zhou family will not hold back. The great army is already gathering at the southern prefecture. If I don't return, the great general will send troops to the Xianyu sect. You can't kill me." "No way." Long Fei smirked and laughed. "There is no one in this world that I can't kill." "Die!" He kicked it. The little bit of HP above his head instantly died down, followed by a system notification sound. Ding! Thank you for your support. Chapter 2356, True Martial Emperor's Tomb? Chapter 2356, True Martial Emperor's Tomb? There was no one who didn't dare to kill, let alone a mere Black Crow general. Even if the #1 holy general in the imperial court, Zhou Yaozong, who was in command of a million-strong army, stretched his neck out for Long Fei to kill, Long Fei would not hold back in killing him. In his world, there was no such thing as daring or not, but whether or not he wanted to. Assemble the army? Bloody Xianyu sect? I'll kill you first. Long Fei's kick had killed the crow, followed by a system notification sound. Ding! Congratulations, player Long Fei, for defeating Black Crow General for obtaining 690,000 experience, 59,000 true chi, and 10 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Great Blood Crow art. Do you wish to learn it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Black Crow Blood Robe. The system continuously sounded out a few notifications. Long Fei looked at the crow's corpse and said, "There is no one in this world who your father doesn't want to kill." Another one more arrogant. With the death of the crow, Yurong finally heaved a sigh of relief, endured the pain in his stomach, and asked Long Fei, "How did you get out? Do you see that eye on the altar?" This. After he finished speaking, Yurong's body spasmed, and it was so painful that he could not take care of himself. Xiao Dai swiftly went up to support Yurong and said, "Sister E, your injuries." Long Fei asked, "What about the painkiller pill that I gave you last time?" Yurong said, "I didn't bring it out." Actually, she had been carrying it on her body the entire time, and this was the first time Long Fei had given it to her. She endured the severe pain several times, unwilling to take it because this was what Long Fei had given her. Sometimes they called her smart, but they also called her stupid. Women are like that. He had no idea what was on his mind, but his way of thinking was completely different. Long Fei took out a few medicinal pellets from his bosom and said, "Although it is not comparable to the painkiller pill, it will at least alleviate your pain. Also, the injuries on your body must be treated." Receiving the medicinal pellet from Long Fei's hands, Yurong swallowed all of them consecutively and said, "I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me." She refused to let Long Fei check her wounds, because Yurong was very clear in his heart that the limitless burning sword's poison had no antidote. It was a divine weapon bestowed to the Zhao family by the God's tribe, the #1 divine weapon of the Zhenwu continent. The poison on it could not be cured at all, and no one in the Zhenwu continent could cure it. Even the Ming clan behind her felt the same. He couldn't solve it. She did not want to make Long Fei worry, nor did she want to add to his trouble. Long Fei looked at Yurong, and his heart tensed up. Once the pellet entered his body, Yurong's pain lessened. His complexion also recovered a little as he said, "Your pellet's true soul, the pain has lessened greatly. Can you tell me the situation inside Secret World now?" Long Fei could not refuse, and explained everything that happened before he fainted. Actually, he couldn't understand it either. In that situation, he would definitely die. However, why was he fine? Furthermore, why is Mingyu on the altar missing again? The most important thing was that there was actually an additional spring of life in his body, which constantly provided him with health point. As long as he didn't die instantly, he would be able to recover quickly. This spring of life was too awesome. Mingyu himself was a spring in ancient world. He had only acquired a lucky chance, soared into the skies, and transformed into an eye. He could be said to be the spring of life. It could also be called an ancient eye, using all of his soul blood's essence, breaking through the seal to become a small spring in the past. He didn't regret it, even if it was like this, because Long Fei had been protecting him in his previous life, and now he wanted to repay Long Fei. It was just that Long Fei did not know about this while he was unconscious. He didn't even know about Sky Sword Spirit. Yurong muttered, "Mingyu attacked you, and you're actually fine. How is that possible? What exactly happened?" Mingyu almost killed her, but he let her go. Now it was gone. Elder of Ming clan had once said that Mingyu had the seal on him. Disappeared now? The holy object of the Ming clan disappeared just like that? Yurong's eyes tensed up. She did not believe him, but she had to enter the secret world to check it out, and then she said, "I want to go in and take a look, since it is special." If the elders of the Ming clan knew that Mingyu had disappeared, the consequences would be dire. And then, Yurong did not care about the pain in his upper abdomen, and quickly stepped in his secret world. Long Fei did not understand and followed along. Next, Xiao Dai, Thin Monkey, and the big-sized few others follow behind him. Stepping into the secret world, Yurong's expression immediately changed. How did it become like this? In a huge, spacious area. It was just like a huge cave. It was not blurry, but the interior was clear and distinct. It was completely different from when he had first entered. Moreover, there was not a single trace of dangerous demon beast's aura. Long Fei was also secretly surprised. How did you become like this? This is too strange. Yurong continued to walk forward, seeing an altar in the distance. He quickly walked forward and said, "The altar is still there." Long Fei had also seen this altar before, and he was very familiar with this altar. Mingyu was right on top of this altar, so he couldn't help but remind everyone be careful. Long Fei walked in front of the altar and frowned, then said doubtfully, "I remember that the altar was surrounded by Ming clan runes, but why are there only a few broken rocks here? What about those runes?" Thin Monkey walked forward and lightly touched it. "What runes are there here?" Walala. Gently, the altar crumbled and the thick stones turned into powder. Thin Monkey was frightened as he muttered, I didn't do anything, I just smashed it." Yurong said solemnly, "Looks like Mingyu is no longer here." Then, Yurong looked at Long Fei and asked, "What happened?" Long Fei spread out his hands and said, "I really don't know." Although he said that he did not know, Long Fei was suspicious in his heart. Could it be that Mingyu has become the spring of life in my body? Impossible. He clearly wanted to kill me. So why did he become the mysterious spring in my body? Absolutely impossible. Long Fei immediately denied his guess. But where did Mingyu go? And then, Xiao Dai looked at the huge stone door behind the altar and asked, "There's a door here. Could the thing you're looking for have entered?" Stone door. Long Fei raised his eyes. He had already noticed it from the very beginning, and was only thinking about Mingyu and forgot about the stone door. Eorong also looked towards the stone door. The runes on the stone door were still there, and on were the ancient words of the Ming clan. At this moment, Long Fei's heart sank. The idea moved. 16 words of secret wind, water, yin and yang skills. Activate. Buzz. True Chi exhausted. Ding. System notification. The tomb of the true martial emperor is in front of us. Chapter 2357, A Bit of Terror. Chapter 2357, A Bit of Terror, just as Long Fei and the rest had entered the secret world. On top of the Black Crow's corpse, a tiny blood crow flew out from its body and headed towards the southern prefecture residence. Long Fei used the blood crow great art, but he did not practice it immediately. Otherwise, he would have known that the crow would have this skill. This was also an oversight. In the secret world, Long Fei's expression shook as he muttered, "Damn, it's the tomb of the true martial great emperor again. How many true martial great emperors have actually appeared in this world?" This was the second time he had discovered the tomb of the true martial emperor. The last time was in the Great Hall of Xian Yu's secret territory, a large tomb that was protected by a dark unicorn. However, the dark unicorn said it was the tomb of the Ming clan's war god, the Netherworm. Now, the tomb of the true martial emperor had appeared again. "Boss, what did you say? Is this the tomb of the true martial emperor's powerhouse?" Thin Monkey was excited. The big fellow looked at the huge stone door and muttered, "True martial emperor, the strongest powerhouse in the world." Long Fei said, "It can only be said that in the Zhenwu continent's plane, there are a lot of powerhouse in this world. I'm afraid the powerhouse in the Zhenwu continent are the weakest existences." Thin Monkey said excitedly, "Then what are we waiting for? Let's dig." No matter how weak, he is still the continent's top powerhouse. And also, if there's a true martial great emperor-level soul treasure inside, then we will be rich. Ha ha. Very excited. However, Long Fei had some doubts in his heart. Eorong walked in front of the stone door and read the words of the Ming clan on it. Long Fei asked, "What's written on it?" Eorong shook his head and said, "I am also unable to recognize it. I can only roughly understand its meaning. The authorities say that it is extremely dangerous, and anyone who enters will die." "How did you know that it was the tomb of the true martial emperor?" Long Fei knew that Eorong would ask this, and said, "There is such a huge stone door underground, and there is such an incomprehensible character carved on top of the stone door. Just by thinking about it, one would be able to tell that this is a grave, and the person buried in such a strong aura is definitely not a simple person." Eorong withdrew his doubtful gaze, looked at the groove at the center of the stone door, and said, "If you want to open this stone door, you need a key, otherwise you cannot enter." Thin Monkey laughed and said, "Isn't it just a broken stone door? You can even stop me?" "Big guy, let's go." The big guy said innocently, "All right." Without saying anything further, his huge body charged forward. He rammed into it. Bam! The door didn't budge, and Biggle bounced off. The big guy got up from the ground and immediately said, "I'm fine." Thin Monkey said, "If there's nothing else, let's try it again." Long Fei directly slapped him on the back of his head. "Bastard that smacked your mother. Why didn't you smack your own head? For others to crash into it?" It was clear that this stone door could not be opened by force. Just like what Eorong had said, the stone door could not be opened without a key. Thin Monkey scratched his head and smiled apologetically. "Key? What kind of key would this hole be?" Long Fei started to have some doubts as he looked at the hole in the rock. He stuck his entire body up and pressed his eyes to the hole in order to see if there was any mechanism. At this moment, when Long Fei looked inside, there was also a bloody eye looking at him. His mind trembled. After being shocked, Long Fei retreated a few steps. "Damn, there's an eye inside." "The eyes." Thin Monkey immediately went forward and also looked through the hole and said, "It's pitch black, there's nothing at all. Could it be that my cultivation is not high enough?" Eorong also walked forward and glanced at it. "There's nothing at all. Could it be that you're hallucinating?" Long Fei immediately denied. "Impossible. That eye, Long Fei felt that it was a little familiar. Suddenly, Long Fei suddenly said, "Golden green zombie, those are the eyes of a zombie. Although they are different from the eyes of green-haired zombie, they are definitely of the same type." Golden green zombie? The words of the Ming clan? Ming used sacrificial altar. When Long Fei gathered all these together, he could not help but look at Yurong. As Long Fei said these, Yurong was also thinking about these things. Could it be? Long Fei's brain could not take it anymore, and said lightly, "That should be impossible. Could it be that the secret world and the secret world are linked together? Xianyu sect must be thousands of kilometers away from here. If they really are linked together, then this tomb of the true martial emperor is far too large. It's simply unimaginably large." Long Fei was so frightened that he broke out in cold sweat. Was there such a coincidence in the world? They were linked together. Thousands of kilometers of tomb. This is not a tomb. This is an underground kingdom. Who could be so capable? It was hard to imagine. Yurong was also shocked by Long Fei's deduction and said, "That's impossible, right? It shouldn't be possible." But combining all of these factors was very possible. Xiao Dai, Thin Monkey, Big Bro, Transformers, and a few others didn't even know what they were talking about. The Thin Monkey said anxiously, "Boss, can you tell us what we can understand? What exactly is inside? Is there any way to open it?" When he thought about the green-furred, gold-bodied zombie from before, Long Fei's excitement was a little unable to hold it back. Zombie Orb, Infinite True Qi. In addition to the golden holy body, these were all good stuff. Moreover, God's set gatherings time was almost up. If he wanted to get good results, he alone was not enough. He needed a strong team. If more things like the golden holy body dropped, then nothing would be a problem. Long Fei walked forward again and carefully examined the cave. There must be a way to go in. Yurong instead said to Long Fei in a low voice, "If it's really the same as the one in the Xianyu secret territory, then can you really deal with the guy inside? Even if you can deal with them, do you dare to guarantee that they can safely leave?" Indeed, the green-haired zombie was too savage. If not for the dark unicorn that Long Fei possessed, it would have been impossible to deal with. The guy inside would definitely not be worse than a green-haired zombie. Once they started fighting, if he wasn't a match, then the consequences would be unimaginable. Long Fei said, "Whether or not I can enter, that's up to you." Yurong said, "I suggest that we retreat. We have already stayed in the Xianyu mountain range for too long. We need to return. There are only 8 days until the Grand Elder issues out the monthly rules. If you can't take it out by then, the entire Pill Pavilion will definitely not forgive you." They were not allowed to stay in time at all. Adding on the time they had left, they simply didn't have any time left. Long Fei did not take the matters of the Pill Pavilion to heart. Right now, his heart was filled with the rage of green-haired zombie. We can't just leave like this. Chapter 2358, War Beast Regiment's Great Army. Chapter 2358, War Beast Regiment's Great Army. This was a rare opportunity. Long Fei did not want to miss it. Since he was here, it was not Long Fei's style to leave without anything. On the other hand, Yurong said worriedly, "Even if you don't think for yourself, think about Xiao Dai. Think about your brother. Long Fei, let's go." She was actually very worried, because the last words written on the stone door, "Anyone who enters will die." If this was really the tomb of a powerhouse, then it would definitely be exceptionally dangerous. If it was Lord Ming Long's tomb, that would be even more dangerous. Even the sacred artifact of the Ming clan, Ming Yu, was present on the altar, so the contents inside could be imagined. Long Fei said, "I do not plan to let you in." Yurong said, "Then do you want to go in alone to die?" Long Fei, "Listen to me. Leave, we'll come back next time." The more Yurong thought about it, the more scared he became. Xiao Dai could not help but say, "Along, I think we should go back first. We still have to make a trip to the Spirit Grass Valley." Although Thin Monkey was a little unwilling, when he thought about Long Fei's mission as the great clan elder, he said, "Boss, we'll come again next time. It's not like we'll run away anyways." The crowd couldn't help but try to persuade him. Long Fei said, "All right, then let's go back and finish the pill refinement first." He would never give up. This was just as Long Fei and the others were about to leave the secret world. The great army at the entrance of the valley was pressing down on the land, causing the surrounding area to be covered in dust. Eorong's consciousness moved. Zhou family army. War Beast Regiment. 1,000 War Beast Regiment. Just as Eorong was about to use his divine sense to sense her, she was also noticed. One of the old men on top of the 6th level War Beast grinned maliciously. "I've found you. Deep in the valley, let's go." Boom, boom, boom. 1,000 War Beast Regiment soldiers rushed into the valley. Long Fei's brows tightened and said, "Aren't the Zhou family members coming too fast?" Eorong said, "Of Zhou Yaozong's million-strong army, the fastest one would not be the Black Crow army, but the War Beast Regiment. If they were able to travel 10,000 miles a day, there would definitely be a Black Crow warrior who managed to escape in a few hours." Xiao Dai said, "I heard that the War Beast Regiment is the strongest army under Zhou Yaozong's command. All of them are level 4 war beasts, and every single one of them are at least in the Essence Condensation realm." Essence Condensation realm? Adding the 4th stage beast to the mix, the heck. Even the Elixir S can fight against them. So this army of thousands of beasts, Thin Monkey was slightly stunned. Eorong said, "If only I could bring Black Scale Carving out. What a pity." The Black Scale Carving's injuries had yet to recover, and it did not have the slightest bit of fighting strength. The big-sized guy clenched his fists, looked at Long Fei, and asked, "Boss, what do we do?" Such a huge army was definitely not something that Long Fei's group and a level 9 demon beast could handle. Furthermore, this time, the people sent by the Zhou family were definitely even more powerful. Not only that, if there really was someone who escaped, then the matter of Eorong taking Zhao Haoyan's life would not be hidden either. Xianyu's sect was instantly trapped in a desperate situation. Long Fei frowned and said faintly, "Enter the secret world first." Eorong looked at Long Fei and said, "At this time, entering the secret world is just waiting for death. It's better to carve out a path of blood. At least there's still hope to rush out." Enter the secret world? Then he would have to wait to be caught in a jar. There was no chance of survival at all. No one would be foolish enough to enter the secret world. However, Long Fei looked at Eorong and asked, "Are we going to listen to you or to me?" Enter the secret world. Without giving Eorong a chance to refute his words, he strode into the secret world. Thin Monkey and the big-sized man immediately followed. Xiao Dai said, "Sister, maybe along has a way." Eorong laughed bitterly. "Entering the secret world is the most foolish method, and you just have to wait for death inside." He must still be thinking of entering the stone door after entering the secret world. Eorong didn't know why Long Fei chose to enter the secret world. Long Fei was still thinking of entering the stone door. This kind of tactical judgment was absolutely wrong. Xiao Dai said, "No, I will never go back on my words." At this moment, Long Fei walked out from within the secret world. He glanced at Eorong and said, "Sis, come in." Then he walked into the secret world. After entering, Long Fei walked out again. He walked back and forth several times. Xiao Dai pulled Eorong and said, "Sister let's hurry up and go in." Eorong looked at Long Fei, gritted his teeth, and followed Xiao Dai into the secret world. The moment he entered the secret world, her path was blocked. On the left and right side were the Thin Monkey and the big-sized man. There was only a very small space that could be walked out. Xiao Dai was the first to go and stopped him in an instant. He couldn't move at all. "Unless you kill a man." Long Fei walked forward and said, "Didn't you question my strategy?" Eorong was trapped at the entrance. He could neither enter nor retreat. Long Fei continued, "Now let me tell you, this is my strategy. Let alone 1,000 of them. Even if it were 10,000 or 100,000, I would still kill them all." Eorong was puzzled. "Just based on this?" Long Fei replied, "Just based on this. What can a small blockage do? Once a powerhouse entered and instantly killed a person, who could they block? You know, the big-sized man of the Thin Monkey Xiao Dai, and the rest only had escalated blood stage cultivation. Their bodies could not even withstand the impact of the beasts. How could they block it? Don't mention that Yi Yurong suspected them. Even though it was the thin monkey, Big Al still expressed his doubt. To be able to block War Beast Regiment, whose strength was comparable to the Golden Protector level? However, they believed in Long Fei. Long Fei said, "I'll let you know what is called blocking tactics. You want to break through? That's because you guys don't even know how powerful this blocking tactic is." Long Fei didn't dare to say anything else, but he had absolute confidence in his blocking tactics. The siege of the legend of Hot Blood. To defend the palace, he had to use a blocking tactic. Sealing the entrance, the warrior assassins, the mage's firewalls, continuously smashing the ice and roaring, more or less dead. He had absolute geographical advantage. You know, there was only one entrance, and it was extremely narrow. As long as he entered, he would be unable to move at all. And this time, he would be a live target. He was using the Transformers' power to attack him. If one came, one would die. A pair would die, just like that. Furthermore, Long Fei looked at the stone door. He still had another move. Sister Xiao Dai, give all the spirit grass you gathered to me. Long Fei said that there would definitely be no problem with his blocking tactics, but their cultivations were too weak. This was a severe injury. If he were to suffer an impact, even if he were to resist, he would be injured. Thus, medicine was the key. As long as they had enough pills on them, nothing would be a problem. After obtaining the spirit grass, Long Fei quickly started to refine the pellets. Every time he used the powerful alchemy technique, he would bring the spirit liquid within the spirit grass to its limits. The pill was swiftly formed. Outside the valley, the War Beast Regiment gathered and occupied the entire valley. The leading old man looked at the smooth and flawless wall and said, "That should be the secret world's entrance, right? Haha, is hiding inside useful? Turtle in a jar. Send my order, Fire Bee Squadron, charge." Chapter 2359, The Power of Tactics. Chapter 2359, The Power of Tactics. The war beast roared, and its footsteps rumbled like thunder as it charged forward. The sounds of killing rang out. War Beast Regiment, Zhou Yaozong, the most powerful legion in the entire empire. It was unstoppable. The creation never failed. He was truly a master of tigers and wolves. It was even more beneficial for them to be in this mountain range. However, using them to deal with a few people was just making a big fuss over nothing. However, at the same time, he did not want to miss this chance to obtain Yi Yorong's precious treasure, which was why he sent out the fastest War Beast Regiment. They had surrounded the valley in such a short period of time. Boom, boom, boom. Over 100 demon beasts with flame patterns on their bodies rushed into the depths of the valley, appearing at the entrance of the flawless secret world. "Captain, the entrance to the secret world is too small. We can only enter one by one." "Then let's enter one by one. Wash them all off at once." "Enter." The fire beast moved, and the leader of the warrior rushed in. At this moment, Long Fei raised his eyes, which flashed with a bright light. "They're here." In his past life, blocking position was a very useful tactic, especially when used to block such tiny entrances. It could be said that no one could break through it. Moreover, there was only one entrance, so one could enter at a time. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be a problem at all. However, after all, this was a game in his previous life, and this was the real world. Get ready. In that moment, the sky sword in Long Fei's hand moved slightly and slashed out with his sword chi. In that moment, the warrior rode on his fire beast and rushed into the secret world and roared out, "Kill them!" The war beast could not move. It was completely sealed off, and when Transformers' dense chi was released, the beast was immediately stunned. Long Fei's sword chi slashed down. Boom! A damage floated above the warrior's head, and in that instant, Long Fei shouted out, "Kill!" Boom! Transformers held his fists and swung down like a huge axe. Poochie! The warrior and his beast were smashed into meat paste. The blood on the top of his head flowed down in a flash, leaving him with no time to react at all. The system sounded out immediately. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Flame Beast Knight, for obtaining 32,000 experience, 2,800 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining military pill. 2 system notifications sounded out. Long Fei did not have the time to look closely. He immediately said to the big size man, "Drag the corpse out." The big bloke reacted and immediately did as he was told. The first beast knight was killed just like that. Their bodies were all drenched in blood. That split second of killing was indeed very powerful, but what shocked them was Long Fei's strategy. That warrior obviously could not react at first and was immediately blocked. Because of this, the war beasts were unable to charge through and were directly killed. Thin Monkey shouted excitedly, "Good job!" Earong also looked at Long Fei suspiciously and said slightly, "This is only the first person. There are still over 100 or so left." The Zhou's armies are all considered the top existences in the Empire's army. When the first warrior was killed, Long Fei could see that this position blocking tactic was not a problem. He smiled lightly and said, "Let alone hundreds or thousands of them. Even if Zhou Yaozong brought over 1,000,000 troops, he would still die here. Outside the secret world." "Captain, no reaction? Have they already run away?" The Fire Beast warrior could not help but become suspicious. "In front of my Fire Beast group, everything is trash. A few mere Xin, you sect trash, want to show off in front of me? You overestimate yourself. Now listen to my orders. Follow me and enter the secret world. They are inside. Kill them all." The leader of the Fire Beast shouted. He clamped his legs together. "Huh!" The Fire Beast beneath him started to quickly rush into the secret world. "Huff!" Long Fei let out a light breath and said, "I'm ready." The test had just begun. However, Long Fei was actually a little excited in his heart. "If I can block it, then I definitely will level up. Ha-ha. The trash of Xianyu sect. Tremble for me." The moment the captain of the Fire Beast rushed into the secret world, he shouted loudly. In the next second, his war beast was blocked. He also stared blankly for a moment before raising his eyes slightly. Looking at the incomparably large transformers, he muttered to himself, "What's with his grandmother?" Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei's sword chi had already arrived. In that instant, Transformers' fist also came smashing down. Rumble. Instant kill. Thin Monkey became excited. "Ha-ha. This move is too awesome." Long Fei frowned and said, "Don't relax. There will not be only one this time. The big guy is going to clean up the corpses anytime." "Understood." Just as Long Fei finished speaking, another warrior from the Fire Beast group rushed in, and before he could react, he was killed again by the Transformers. Boom, ding, boom, ding. Every time there was an explosion, it was followed by a system beep, like a cheerful symphony bursting with rhythm. Earong stood at the side and watched, her heart becoming more and more shocked. In less than 3 minutes, dozens of warriors from the Fire Beast team had died. They entered one after another, as if they were courting death. At first, Earong was suspicious of Long Fei's motive. Now, she realized that she was wrong. Long Fei really had a way. Using their geographical advantage to completely crush Long Fei, Earong looked at him. Long Fei coincidentally looked at Earong. Their eyes met. Earong immediately looked away. Long Fei grinned and said, "How is it? Am I very handsome?" On the surface, Earong looked at them with disdain, but he was actually impressed in his heart. He said lightly, "This is only the beginning, and Shao Dai, Thin Monkey, and the others are all injured. The Transformers is indeed powerful, but its stamina will always be depleted. Furthermore, once it meets someone that it cannot kill in a single strike, your barrier will be broken in an instant. Once it breaks through the War Beast Regiment and enters quickly, then we will become a turtle in the sky." That's right. This was indeed the weakness of the blocking tactic. If they were unable to instantly kill him and their positions were broken through, then this blocking tactic would completely disintegrate and it would be too difficult to regroup. This was also because there were too few people around Long Fei. If he was given a few more people, it would definitely not be this kind of blockade. Long Fei looked at the huge stone door from the corner of his eye, and then laughed. Break through one defense line, I still have another defense line. No matter what, I will not let you all die here, nor will I ever be able to become a turtle in the sky. At this moment, Long Fei had already found the key to open the stone door. Moreover, the key was with him. Chapter 2360, Beast Mastery Awakening. Chapter 2360, Beast Mastery Awakening. General, the fire beasts have fully entered Secret World. We should kill all of them now, a warrior quickly reported. The old man on top of a level 6 beast smiled. A trivial Yurong making our war beast regiment come here is really a big deal, but that thing seems to really be extraordinary. Beside him, a man who looked like a strategist asked, General, what exactly is that thing? Is it worth the general to pay so much attention to it? The old man shook his head and said, the Blood Crow is only reporting to the great general. I don't even know what it is, but it definitely isn't an ordinary treasure. Xinyu sect had a great treasure. This information was leaked from the inner circle of the imperial Zhao family. And the news that the Zhao family received was not from nowhere. It came from an envoy of the God's tribe. Thus, only then would there be the bestowal of the Gua tribe and the marriage of Yurong to the crown prince Zhao Haoyan. What treasure was it? No one knew, but they all believed it, especially Zhou Yaozong, even though he had a 1,000,000-strong army and his cultivation had reached the peak realm. But even if he was the great emperor of Zhenwu, no matter how strong he was in front of the Zhao family, especially in front of the old monster Zhao Chongshan, he still felt that he was inferior. The Zhao family's Jiangshan was stolen from them. Then why can't he, Zhou Yaozong, snatch it? If this item was truly in his possession, then the old eunuch Zhao Chongshan could deal with the Zhao family's Jiangshan. 10 minutes passed. The general became impatient and said, It's been so long. What's the Fire Beast group doing? Why hasn't anyone come out yet? General, could it be that the secret world is too big and can't be found? I don't think so. Fire Beast's noses are even sharper than dogs. Why would it take so long? The Fire Beast group will always end this quickly and will never delay. The Beast General slightly said, Lin Kai, go inside and take a look. Remember, something's not right. Get out. He felt that something was wrong. No matter what happened to the Fire Beasts, they would send someone out to report it unless everyone for the Fire Beast group had died. Yes, sir. A young man's aura flickered, and a rank 5 armored bear walked out. Its entire body was covered in a silvery armor, and it glimmered with a cold light. The aura of the man was also extraordinary. Cultivation golden protector level. He pressed his legs together and shouted, Jia! The silver-armored bear began its charge, moving faster and faster. Shua! To charge into the secret world. Moreover, he had flown in through the air. Battling a fire beast while charging into the ground was completely different. He's here. Yurong sensed it first and immediately shouted out. At the same time, the thin monkey and the big-sized man suddenly shook, and the two of them took their positions. It was also at this time. Long Fei frowned. Crap. Shua! A silver war bear entered the secret world and flew directly over his head. The war bear landed and abruptly turned around. Lin Kai's expression changed, looking at the few people blocking the entrance, then looking at the bloodied corpse by the side. His eyes darkened and said, You guys, all of the members of the Fire Beast team. Shocked. He had never expected it to look like this. Moreover, he never thought that he would be able to pull some weight when he entered Secret World, and that he would directly fight Xiong Fei, and that he would be able to break through Long Fei's defensive strategy, just like that. Long Fei's heart also tightened. He had forgotten one thing. The people of this world could fly. If they all flew in, then his tactics would be the same as idiots. Immediately, Long Fei shouted, Don't move. Whoever enters will be killed. Leave him to me. Yurong, why are you still looking at me? He must die. Once he spread the word about the situation inside, Long Fei and the others would be in great danger. After all, there are thousands of beasts outside the secret world. Furthermore, it was too early to open the stone door. This was his last trump card. Moreover, there were too many uncertain factors in this card. Long Fei would not use it unless it was absolutely necessary. Too risky. Eorong also reacted. He summoned his Xianyu underworld wheel and quickly rushed forward. Long Fei shouted, "Kill!" Lin Kai reacted and said solemnly, "I never thought that you would actually be able to kill the entire Fire Beast battle group in such a short period of time. They should have been killed by you guys at the entrance, right? It seems like flying in here is the best option." "Ha ha!" Lin Kai laughed out loud, his mouth curling up. He glanced at Eorong and said, "You are heavily injured. Your cultivation in the essence refining realm can at most release you to the Golden Protector level, right? And you..." Lin Kai glanced at Long Fei. "A mere trash of the refinement realm dares to mention the word kill in front of me? You overestimate yourself." While they were talking, Lin Kai gently caressed Silver Warbear. "Roar!" Silver Warbear roared. The big bloke revealed an envious expression and muttered, "If only I had a war beast like that." Thin Monkey said, "Stop dreaming. This is a level 5 war beast, a super war beast that can't even be bought with 100,000 spiritual stones. Beasts were always priceless. Too rare. These high-level beasts were even rarer." Xiao Dai rolled his eyes at them and said, "Let's not talk about war beasts. We'll long be in danger." Thin Monkey and the big-sized man were startled, but they also started to worry. Buzz. Profound nether sword technique. Eorong did not dare be careless. She immediately used the Ming clan sword technique. The Xinyu underworld wheel in her right hand instantly changed, transforming into a sword. At this moment, she didn't hold anything back. Once Lin Kai escaped, they would all die here. Moreover, Long Fei's cultivation was not high, so she had to go all out. Lin Kai sneered and said, "You only have this kind of power?" Roar! The warbear suddenly charged forward. Lin Kai's speed was 2 times faster than Eorong's. Standing on his chest, 2 blades appeared on his left and right sides, and a pleased cold smile emerged from the corners of his mouth as he said, "Eorong, prepare to die." "Ha ha! Speed. A warbeast charge." Only speed was unbeatable in this world. Speed was very important. The eruption of the silver warbear had brought its speed to its limits. Under the impact of such a powerful speed, Lin Kai's strength will be multiplied by multiple times. Eorong's abdomen was injured, and her injuries from fighting the Black Crow were not light, so her current cultivation level was a lot lower. She definitely wouldn't be able to withstand such an impact. At this moment, Long Fei's expression tensed up. He quickly charged forward and said, "Silly girl, move away a little." He directly rushed in front of Eorong. Lin Kai's face revealed an even more contemptuous smile and said, "You, this trash, dare to fight with me? A white bear. Smash him." Lin Kai laughed. Roar! Silver Warbear roared out, dozens of tons of bodies rushing forward. The impact would directly cause Long Fei's body to split apart. "Be careful. Long Fei. Be careful." Suddenly, Long Fei's mind felt as if there was something extra, beast mastery, that you're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.